Well, welcome to Friday the 13th. It's starting already. Good morning. I'm Rayford Brown.
I'm Kelly Knapp.
And I'm Lee Barrows.
Oh.
Rayford just panicked.
Yeah, everything that I had here said entering power save mode. I don't want to save any power. I want to, anyway. Well, it is Friday. It's the fourth round of the playoffs, high school playoffs. And boy, I was so ticked off yesterday morning. I was saying, you know what? I'm not going to Havelock tonight. That's before I bought tickets.
Right.
Oh, so you are going.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going.
It's going to be cold.
Well, that's not the part of it that
I'd
I'm
be cold.
mad about.
Yeah.
I'm mad because I can't bring my hot chocolate. Then Kelly leave and call yesterday.
Yeah, while I was sitting here.
She left from here. She called. Well, can we take some hot chocolate in? Yeah, no problem. Well, let me check. No, you can't.
Mm-hmm.
No food, no drinks.
They're probably worried about people bringing like alcohol in and stuff.
Well, I kind of threw a little bit of, we're just curious because we're a morning talk show and we were discussing it, hoping that would help.
It didn't
still
help
got
at
a
all.
no. I'm like, not
So-
that we expect special treatment.
No, we just demand it.
We just
I'm cold. I get old and I get cold. And sitting
Right.
up there, and right now it's 21 degrees. Is it out here?
It's cold.
20
I'll tell
degrees.
you.
It's dropped
Yeah.
again.
Well, how windy is it going to be? It's the
It
wind.
doesn't matter. A half mile per hour. When
Well,
it gets
that's what
down
I'm
in
saying.
there.
Last Friday
According to
night,
this, it says calm wind, but
well, the wind started
Winds are
kicking
not
up halfway
calm.
through the game last Friday night.
Yeah, that's when.
what got us.
The
it's
breeze was-
breezy right now out
Straight
there.
up.
It was breezy when I left my house.
Well, 20 degrees is freezing. Yeah.
No, breezy.
Breezy.
Yeah, breezy.
Freezing.
It says calm wind, but define calm.
How can wind be calm?
I agree. Correct. That would be no
Why don't
wind.
they just
right?
say
Yeah.
it's not blowing?
Yeah,
That's
Oh, wow.
like partly cloudy, partly sunny. We could go on forever with the weather.
Yeah, buddy. Half full, half empty. But my hot chocolate cup gonna be all the way empty.
I don't know. We're still trying to think of ways.
Well, I gotta
we-
wait.
Okay, I got an idea.
I
for
have
you.
to.
Go get
ahead.
a flask, strap it to your ankle.
But you're going to
but I
set
need
off
more
the
than a
alarm. Well,
flask.
you could do it because you could just say it's my knee.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
And I'm wearing long pants. I can't go down.
I wonder if I told them that I had a knee replacement too, if they would. But it was the flask setting it off.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to get bigger pants though.
Yeah.
to hide it.
We're not trying to carry alcohol in. We're trying to
No,
stay
we
warm,
just want hot
y'all.
chocolate.
That's all. I don't want your coffee. I don't want your hot chocolate because I've got to walk from your hot chocolate booth all the way over to the bleachers and then back up.
Well,
the
theirs is going
sky.
to be watery and
And then
gross.
it's going to be it's not going to be
It's
chocolate.
not the same as
Mine
yours.
is chocolate. You want
Chocolate,
hot chocolate?
milky
You get hot chocolate. Don't get it watered down with water. You don't get it watered down with with liquor. You get hot chocolate.
Well, I have thought of every way possible to smuggle it in,
Well, I've
break
got
the
it. I'm
rules.
going to
And I-
Lowe's in a little while. I've got my way.
Oh, okay.
Do
All
it,
right.
babe,
I'm
do
going to
it.
get a PVC pipe. I'm going to put that's going to be my cane on the top end of it. I'll put a
Uh-huh.
that'll be my cane.
4
feet long with 2-inch inside diameter pipe. I could get a lot of hot chocolate in there. What do you think?
I'm game.
A friend of mine told him that yesterday. He said, "You got an invention there for all the
Yes.
alcoholics if they want something.
Yes,
So why don't
true.
you just go ahead and
True.
you could paint it in school colors?" He offered.
Paint it like a candy cane.
Yeah, it's Christmas time.
It's red and white.
Yeah, there you
Cardinal colors.
go. Okay. Anyway, that's the story tonight. Anyway, we have a lot.
Yeah, stay tuned Monday for the results.
Or
Whether we made it to the game or went to lock up.
yeah, it could be one or the other.
Yeah,
here.
it's going to be one or the other.
So we can get to the game. I don't know whether we can get inside or not. We'll work on it. Bought the tickets. Now here's the other pit peeve.
Yeah, I know. Here's
here we
mine.
go. Y'all just get ready for it. I have a telephone.
That's it. That's the ticket, Kelly.
You can't print the thing
You can't
out.
print it.
And if you delete it, what do? If you
Just show it, I'm
accidentally
assuming?
delete it, it's in your email. They send you the ticket in your email. Now what? You
Wait.
can't do
I know you
a-
can't see it, but
It's
it's
not
just a
only that-
little teeny
It's
ticket
not
there.
only that, but when you try to do I can do a screenshot, but he won't let me print this thing normally. I
Yeah,
can do a
no.
screenshot, but the problem is it says no screenshots allowed.
It says use your tickets on site for entry into venue. Screenshots are not accepted.
Now here's
Well,
the
let
other
me
thing.
take one right now and see what happens.
Oh, you're going to erase it.
No, I just took a screenshot.
And then here's the other thing.
So that's what I'm gonna
Here's the
show
other
you.
little bit of a problem that happens.
We're just
How about if I don't have a cell phone that gets my email? I got me a flip phone. Now what y'all going to do?
then
They're
print out the
discriminating.
email.
They're discriminating. They don't do that in Jacksonville. It's so easy. I just print it out and take a copy with me.
Look,
Robbie's got her copy and I got my
We
copy.
need to stop because they're already going to be on the lookout for us.
My name is Jose Jimenez. Y'all don't know who I am.
I'm Conchita. Juanita.
Juanita and Conchita and Jose, we're going to be carrying, I think we're going to get a big old dog. One of those kind
Service dogs.
of,
Or one of those big St. Bernards
dogs.
that
Y'all look
carries the hot chocolate in his
There
little.
you go.
Uh-huh.
He carries
Just
brandy,
just
but
tell him-
that's beside the point. Y'all,
We
you,
put hot
want to
chocolate
check
in.
that? Go ahead and take that away from him.
Say, that's your service dog.
Take that away from him.
Oh, we're going to be in so much trouble. People are already going to have like school going. Be on the lookout for these people.
Okay, Sheriff Hughes, we're okay. You know that.
I'll be at an event, so y'all can't call me to come bail you out now, because until
I
after
don't
about
think that
9:30.
I don't think bond will be available.
Oh, gotcha. All right.
So we already got word.
How long has it got hot chocolate in the jail?
Mhm.
Look,
You'll be
if
all right.
Sheriff Hughes is at the gate when we get there, we'll know we've been told.
We've been had.
That's right.
Yeah, Sheriff, can you brew up some hot chocolate? I'll bring my own. It's okay. Can I bring my
Where
hot
did I put
chocolate
it
in?
under my hat?
They don't wand your head.
Do
Or do y'all walk? Do they wand you, or do you walk to an actual?
You have to walk through the.
Well, we all walk through, then I get wanded.
Okay.
Yes. Well, Robbie got caught last week. She set off the alert. They kept saying, "You got to go back through." And I go, "Why? Who? I didn't do that. No, her. Something. It was a zipper on her coat or something. Set it off.
Say it's my bra.
That's what I'm
What are they
saying.
gonna do? Say it's my bra.
It's that chain bra I have.
Mhm.
That's right.
Some wireless.
I have an event when I'm done. I just came prepared. Yeah, just say that. Yeah.
It's my Beyonce outfit.
Don't you have metal reinforcing rods or something in there?
Not anymore. They make.
Well,
it
you
now
wear
without
one of
it.
those like BDSM outfits. You'll be all
Yeah.
chained up.
Beat 'em, what?
Yeah,
It's a bondage outfit, Rayford.
that's right.
Bondage.
Mm-hmm.
Tell
not
them you're a
understanding.
dancer at Birdland or something, you know.
Birdland's been gone for
I
50
know.
years.
Well,
I do know.
we've already just like alerted them to everything.
Yeah, well, we're actually not even going to the game.
They're
That's the
probably
funny thing.
listening to us right now. Go Havelock, yay! Uh-huh.
Anyway, no, we'll be over there. So if you're coming in, you're from Jacksonville, we'll be in the visitor stands, of course, because they won't allow us in the big stands.
Wrapped up in our blankets and
Wrapped
our.
up. Oh, shh, don't tell them about the seats.
Oh, okay,
But here's a move. We got to get this thing going for next year
right.
for the ball. All the stadiums in North Carolina should be mandatory with the USB outlets,
Plugins, yes,
And AC.
outlets. Right?
so we can bring a little heater. How about a heating pad? That would be great.
Yes.
That big heating pad.
Well, you know what? You
Well,
can
they
bring
make
your. Oh, they
plug-ins
don't make
like
a
ones.
USB plug-in on a heating
They
pad.
make battery ones, little battery fans that it will make heat.
Yeah. There's also got one couple last week sitting in front of us had a little propane, one of those small propane things. I used to
Yes.
have one of them until
Mhm.
it broke, wore out.
Right. Well,
With the
I
little
don't see
screw
though.
in
where
They don't
that's-
say you can't bring that in.
Not yet.
It's
So
not
we
on
get
the
that.
list.
Well, you have to remember we were at Jacksonville, and Jacksonville is
They're-
very
they're
accommodating.
Friendly. It's the
Friendly.
friendly
They
city.
get it.
You know, we don't have fights. We don't have anything there.
I mean,
So
they didn't even question you last year, or Robbie, when she was bringing a huge crock pot through the gate full of chili. They didn't say a word.
Yeah, it had chili.
That's right.
Take it up to the press box. That's where we were last year. Take it up to
Right.
the press box, plug that sucker in, and we're
Yeah.
good to go.
We fed a lot of people too, even the opposing team people.
Oh yeah, they came
Really?
over, and the broadcast
That's what
team,
we
the
do at
coaches did.
Jacksonville.
Yeah, that's what it is. We're friendly. So it's that's fun to be able to do things like that.
It is.
And I don't have anything against those guys if they want to sell their stuff. But it's like last week. As soon as I got going through the gate, I headed over for the concession stand so I could get the popcorn, so I didn't have to make a trip back down and then
Right.
back up again.
You were gone quite a long time, too.
And but well, not the first time. I went over there and it was closed still.
Right,
It
that's
didn't say
right.
opening time. It just said
Right.
closed. So I got back up to the reviewing stand, got into my seat and everything, got everything set up, and I kept waiting. And then there was a tree in the way. So sometime in the dead of
Yeah,
night
it's hard
between
to
now
see,
and then,
yeah.
I'm taking my saw over. I'm going to remove that tree so I can see the concession stand, and I'll use the tree for firewood here.
Just look for the lines.
Well, I couldn't see it. It was blocked.
Right.
But anyway, by the time I found out, I saw people walking over there and not walking right straight back. I said, well, it's open. So I walked down there. 30 minutes standing in line to get 3 bags of popcorn.
Right.
They were good. Glad I went early.
They were good. But the next time I've got to remember put
Popcorn.
no, I don't know why I can't think this morning. Well, that's every morning. The floss. Some floss in my bag because I had so much popcorn kernel.
Just carry a water
everything.
pick with you.
Phew, I was like taking threads off the bottom of my jeans to use them as floss.
You could use your shoelaces or something.
No, that's too much.
Okay, it is Friday, and that's some of the nonsense. Coming up here in just a few minutes, in about 15, 20 minutes, we're going to have our
One of our
very special
favorites.
agent,
Yes.
very good friend. Has been since the first time I met him. Met him here on the show, in fact. So, retired FBI agent, special agent, very special
I
agent.
met him back
John Legato.
2015, 2016,
That's about the
and
time.
Kelly, you were at the same dinner.
Yeah.
That's when I was trying to find a for our Lincoln Reagan dinner
Mhm.
with the GOP. And, and it was one of those off years. And I'm like, who can I get? Who can I get?
Mhm.
And Taylor Griffin, who was running for Congress at the time, he said, Lee, I've got somebody really good that you will enjoy having. And he introduced me to John, and we booked him. And what an outstanding speaker. He
Oh,
was
he's a
so
great
good.
speaker. Yeah.
He was
He
so,
spoke
so
at the Marine
good.
Corps ball a few years
Yes.
ago. So that
Yes.
was cool.
But we had our Lincoln Reagan dinner. He was the guest speaker, and I remember y'all were there because that was the first year that Robin was running.
Mhm.
And he put on. It was a fantastic dinner.
I can just
Very well done.
imagine what his college classes are like. He's taught, so
Mhm.
his
Yeah.
classes are good. I'd like to take one just to sit in there and listen to him.
But we'll have it. He's also got a podcast. If you've ever watched it on
I've seen
YouTube,
it, yeah.
and I've watched it a lot. And he posts videos of like sovereign citizens being stopped by the law and
Those
the
people are
excuses they give and what
Yeah.
the
I don't
officers
have to do
go
this.
through.
And no, you don't. You can go to jail.
They're
Just
wacky.
keep your window up, and
Yeah.
then you'll have to get
And
the
these
glass man
First
out.
Amendment auditors that like to go into post offices and start filming. And it's a thing with the post office. You're not allowed, we don't, don't let people come in and film. We wouldn't even let news do that.
Mhm.
And they were quick to point out, well, according to this amendment and according to this one publication, you have to, there's nothing that you can do.
We're going
I
to
mean,
give you
just
the opportunity
aggravating.
to tell it to the judge. Okay,
Right.
just keep doing it. You will have the opportunity
Just
to
aggravating
plead your
people.
case before the judge.
Right.
Okay. No,
And look, if I'm in there working, I don't want a camera up in my face.
Nope.
Get your camera out. I mean, what about my rights?
no, you don't have.
You might have
you're
the
a-
right
you're a
to
federal
video,
employee. You're an employee.
but what about my
I
rights?
pay your salary, girl.
That's right.
That's what they tell cops all the time.
I know it. I'm
That's
so
so
sick
funny.
of that.
Well, 2 things, Rayford.
Yes.
I'm changing the subject for a minute because I have to leave early to go to the doctor. 1, don't forget that Lucy's little sweater is right over there.
That's not hers, but we let her use it.
Okay, well that's there.
We're gonna have to put it on her.
And
We
2,
got to buy her a bigger one because she's blossomed in the past
she's
year.
chunky monkey, but it's okay. 2, I
Eats
want to.
2 breakfasts.
I don't. You didn't say anything about this, so I'm gonna
What?
rile you up a little bit.
Oh yeah, I watched that trial.
So I did too because I was homesick. Did you know that the man that was convicted for Lake and Riley's murder
Mhm.
has asked for a completely new trial?
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to get it.
I hope not. I hope
He
not.
chose
He's
to
saying,
have a
I
trial
agree, but
without
he's saying
jury.
the judge erred, or his attorneys are saying the verdict is contrary to law and contrary to the evidence. What?
Well, you can appeal it all you want.
I'm gonna
Just
tell
let
you
the
what.
appeal
I
go
think
through.
that judge was probably the most upfront, transparent.
I agree. I
Knew
watched
his
it. I was
business.
laying in that bed. Yeah.
He was excellent.
Yes. And it said that the court committed other errors of law that necessitate a new trial. Get out of here. Y'all chose, which everyone said to begin with was a dumb move, to go just by a judge and not a jury.
That's right.
I mean, not that I think a jury would have changed anything.
Nope.
But still, I mean, all that video and stuff. Video don't lie.
Nope.
No,
They've got him.
You saw him
It's
peeping
solid.
Toming and then
Yes.
walking into the woods. I mean,
Then you got him on
changing his
video,
clothes, throwing that stuff in the
throwing
dumpster.
his shirt, his jacket that had
her
her
blood and
DNA
DNA on it. Yeah.
into a dumpster.
Yeah.
I mean, it was all
Dude.
it was all right there.
Mhm.
And it showed her last run, and
I know,
it
it was
showed
so
him
sad.
out there.
Yeah.
It was a horrible,
Unfortunately,
heartbreaking case.
unfortunately, not like it is with the elections
Mhm.
system. Here's what the difference between the election systems and a jury trial or a trial by a judge or
Mhm.
whatever in court. In an election cycle, yes, you can have errors.
Right.
Okay, that if
Well,
the
that's
error,
human, yeah.
if the errors are such that it could, if it's a tight race, for instance, there are 4 votes difference between the winner and the
Yeah.
loser, then yes, 1 or 2 or 3 votes will make a difference.
Mhm.
However, when you got a couple million votes difference between them, and the chances and everything is gone for the guy who obviously is the winner,
Yeah.
those errors are not going to make a hill of beans difference, right?
Right.
So
Okay.
they don't even allow it. They just move on. They don't cancel it and have a new election, do they? And the difference in that and a jury trial or a courtroom venture of any kind is that if there's an error, regardless of all of the good evidence, the blood on the DNA on the jacket that's thrown into a garbage can, you got video of this, you got the guy talking about doing it, you got this, you got that, whatever.
She had his DNA under her fingernails.
Yes.
Well, that could have
Dude.
happened at
Yep.
another time, you know,
Yeah.
whatever.
Well,
Or
Mhm.
maybe a police officer planted it there. You know, the forensics guys, they could have gotten
Yes,
some from you
yes.
and just, some scrapings or whatever. They could have put it there.
well, that's
It
about
could
like
have-
in the Karen Reed trial.
So,
A
anyway,
lot of planted
that
evidence.
kind of junk doesn't hold water.
Yeah.
But they can get a new trial based upon
Right.
if they provide enough so-called evidence to show that some kind of an error was
Right.
created. If it
Right.
was not a substantial error, it really doesn't matter that much because you didn't get a completely total fair trial. But neither here nor there.
Here's one, Kelly, for you to watch. There is
Okay.
a murder trial in Mississippi right now where this
Guilty.
one young guy is being charged with the murder of his lover
Mhm.
who disappeared. They have no body, but they're charging him with murder because they have it on phone records where they met that morning. And I guess on their records, they discussed the sex they had.
Mhm.
And then later in the day, they have him on, the one guy being charged with murder, on video with the guy's car and going to his mother's house and getting a wheelbarrow and a shovel.
Oh yeah.
There's
Okay.
enough circumstantial
Very
evidence
circumstantial,
can
but
be overwhelming.
Yeah.
But let me
enough.
tell you,
yeah.
I started watching this and I could not, because this is in a court in Mississippi. The judge, some of the attorneys and court officials are very, very, I hate to say hillbilly, but it's, yeah.
It can be hillbilly,
The
but
judge
that
will
can be very
just,
honest.
and I'm going to tell you just what he said. He goes, you know what? I think we need to take a pee break. I think some of these people need to go pee, and let's take
Oh
a break.
my.
And they all
Well,
get up,
what-
and I'm like,
Did,
Oh,
they,
my.
did they understand him?
yeah, because they
I
all,
just-
they all,
oh my.
they all talk the same way, but
Oh goodness.
it's very informal in the courtroom.
Apparently.
And when
Wow.
he said that, I was like, do I need to rewind that? What did he just say? And
Oh, my
sure
goodness.
enough, and that's the way, and they'll get in there and they'll just start joking in the middle of the trial and break at it.
Oh, okay.
I was like,
Oh,
I
those
can't even
things are
watch
fun.
this.
Though.
I
Not that
don't.
big a
I
deal.
don't know if I can't. I don't know that I can handle that. I just don't.
It's
I don't know.
fine.
Maybe
You
I'm
gotta
too
be
by the
from-
book.
Got to be
I
from
don't
around
know.
these parts here to understand what they're doing. It's not a problem.
Well, before we get into weather, real quick, I just want to say we're now on coming on day 4 of the penny deliberations.
Yes, I'm worried about that one.
You sure
I,
it's not the
I
third
think
day?
they're in there fighting it. They said yesterday was the 3rd day,
Okay.
and they have still no verdict. So this will make today 4.
I
I
think
don't
it's
know.
going to end in a mistrial.
I think it's going to. I think they're in there fighting it out over. Somebody's either holding out or trying to make everybody do whatever.
Well, they did ask for the testimony of the the one that did autopsy.
Yeah.
They did
examiner.
ask for a copy of her testimony, because in that she said that she had without a doubt, his death was caused by his airway being cut off due to the choking. So and see, there was earlier testimony that he still had a heartbeat when the EMS got there. So I think they're trying to debate the jury.
You can have a heartbeat after.
True, but I think,
For a period of
and that's part of the reason why they wanted the autopsy report, because I think they're trying to decide whether his actions actually caused the death.
Let me explain this to you. So you walk up to a guy and you pull the trigger on him and you shoot him in just near the heart. He's not dead.
Right.
When the EMS gets there, he's still not dead. And then they take him to the hospital, and then they treat him, and he doesn't get any better, but he starts to get worse and worse and worse.
Right.
And he dies.
He dies as a result.
What are you going to be charged with?
Murder.
Okay. Just what you? I don't know what they're
what
trying
I'm
to do.
trying to
there.
say is they're trying
That's
to
nitpicking.
Yeah.
Get over it.
But see, that's where they're at right now, and
Was his actions? Did they indicate that what he did was a deliberate action to kill?
I do.
Do you think that he thought as a result of what he was doing?
Does that make a
Yeah, it
difference?
does.
If the person died,
But
your actions caused his death.
but
Well,
there
I
are
think his
times when
actions-
your actions can legitimately cause a death, and that's
Right.
called either an accident
Mm-hmm.
or it can be defense.
Right.
And regardless, in this particular case, this guy staying at large, staying conscious, or staying out of
Right.
this guy's control,
Right.
to me, would put that group of individuals out there in harm's way, because he had already
That's what
talked
they
about killing.
testified to. Yes. Yes.
And you could take action if the police officer was standing there and had his gun, and this guy was doing everything that he was doing that they said that he was doing. I haven't read the whole thing, but if he was indeed posing a threat to the people out there, and the only way let's say this police officer is 5 feet tall, weighs 101 pounds, and couldn't fight his way out of a paper bag necessarily, certainly couldn't control this guy who was larger and out of control, do you think he fight in using deadly force?
Well, there's 3 elements for the use of deadly force. That's the ability to, take action, put you or someone else is in jeopardy, and it's the ability, jeopardy, and what's the other one? Opportunity. So if all 3 of those exist,
So if this dude was doing something so egregious as to put these other people in harm's way,
right?
which I do, from what I've read, there's no doubt about that.
Correct.
Oh, I
Then
agree.
The use of any kind of, I don't care whether you shoot him with a 50 caliber machine gun or whether you
Right.
strangle him to death.
Right.
And he wasn't intending to try to kill him.
Well, it's been shown that he was high on PCP, he was schizophrenic. He came on there and started posing a threat. People were in fear of their lives.
Mhm.
And
And-
I've not been able to follow the trial because they've not televised it, and that's where I like to hear them.
I like to hear
when
them.
they're up
I
there.
just read a little bit about it over the first of the week, and then with the interviews that were done at that time, the day of,
Right.
with the other witnesses and people who were there. Yeah, forget about it.
Right.
Forget about it.
Yeah, it's going to, I
Okay,
just think it's
moving
going to be a
on.
mistrial.
The rain forecast brought to you by Community Prevention Services of Jacksonville.
right.
Many people, probably most, in fact, look forward to the Christmas season every year. Young kids actually get into the holiday season almost as fast as the retail big box stores at the end of summer. The older some folks get, the more of a burden the holidays become. The holidays are depressing for a lot of folks who actually look forward to the excitement in advance. You may know someone who the day after Christmas, their jovial mood takes a nosedive. The excitement of the season, when it's gone, when the guests are gone, when some relatives, even close ones, will be gone in some cases for another year. You may not see them from California until next Christmas. The lay people among us call it the Christmas blues. The excitement has come and gone, as have the kids and grandchildren. Makes it even worse for a single grandpa or grandmother. Loneliness can be depressing. It can become a serious matter. I've got an expert just to my immediate left shaking her head. Yeah, And this leads quite often to physical ailments and mental depression. If you have experienced such times in the past, it might be a good idea to meet with professionals such as Community Prevention Services right here in Jacksonville. You don't have to go to Asheville, Greensboro, Charlotte, Wilmington, Rock Evans. You don't have to go anywhere. Right here, right down the street at 918 Henderson Drive. They can help you work on a plan to deal with the issues. They've dealt with them before. Give them a call to set up a time to meet. 910-353-0972. Community Prevention Services. Offshore today out to 20 nautical miles. If you had plans to run out there this morning, turn around. There's a small craft advisory until about 10 o'clock this morning. It will gradually get a little less worse. Northerly winds later today, 15 to 20 knots, gusts up to 25 this morning. Seas 3 to 5 feet, occasionally up to 6 feet, except 2 to 3 near shore. Sounds and rivers choppy. Tomorrow, Saturday, a better day on the water. Northwesterly winds 10 to 15 knots, seas 2 to 3 feet. Sounds and rivers a moderate chop. Sunday, you want to go, wait till Sunday. Westerly winds 10 to 15 knots, seas 2 to 3 feet. Sounds and rivers a moderate chop.
Today it'll be sunny with a high of 43. Winds will be 6 to 10 miles an hour with 16-mile-an-hour gusts. Tonight, clear, cold, low of 19. Tomorrow, sunny, high of 48. Tomorrow night, clear, low of 28. And on Sunday, sunny, high of 60.
Yeah. Okay. As we promised you, and he's 2 minutes early. He likes to be early. He likes to get in on time.
It's a good thing.
If he's on time, he's late. There are people like that in this world. And we've got one of them, John Legato. Hey, John, how are you?
As our greeting is, how you doing?
How you
How
doing?
you doing?
Have I gotten any less worse?
You're still bad. I mean,
I know that.
I wouldn't even try it.
Well, how you feeling there, good boy?
Y'all, I'm feeling good. I can't even do that. See the opposite when I try to do Southern.
You can't do redneck, can
I
you?
can't do redneck.
Okay.
No.
All right. Well, anyway, that's good. John, welcome aboard here, sir. Been a while.
Always a pleasure to come here.
Man, it's a pleasure to have you here. And I keep
Always.
I keep talking about it. So, well, I got to call John. And I don't want John to think I'm calling him just to try to lure him to the show, which you're welcome at any time. You know that. But
Always.
we do miss you on the show. But I also always want to check on you. Because when we get to a certain age, we need to check on each other from time to time. And we be there.
No comment on age today.
No. So it's a state of mind, I guess. So I'll do your credentials for those who have absolutely no idea. They're brand new to the area. John is a retired FBI agent. He spent 123 years in the Bureau, survived most of them. And
The clock's still ticking.
yeah. And then prior to that, he was in high school, and immediately after high school, he went up there and played Marine. Is that about right?
Marine Corps, yeah, back in the mid 60s, 67, 68.
Yeah, 68 was a key year for you.
It was wonderful.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah, that you folks have read about it, and I'm sure those of you who have been down to PI, that means Paris Island, hopefully they still teach some of the stuff that happens at places like the Tet Offensive, January through
31 January through March 2nd. Or
Yeah, it was more than a month long.
well,
Wow.
it's funny you bring that up because when we went into Way City on 31 January, we had no experience in urban warfare.
Yeah,
And,
door to door was not there.
no, I mean,
No training.
we knew the jungles and rice paddies. But what happened since then, Way City was the thing that signaled the Marine Corps training in urban warfare. Now, they actually have a thing at the Crucible called the Gonzales, which is my young 21-year-old platoon sergeant, Freddie Gonzales, won the Medal of Honor at Way.
Right.
And so they do a lot of, I think, urban warfare now in the Marine Corps.
Well, I actually went out to a place they called it Combat Town, near the rifle range. They built at some point in time in the early 70s, I think it was, when I went out there to run through it for civilian law enforcement. But it was used as a realistic training ground for urban stuff. They built a town.
Yeah.
Did you know that?
No, we didn't have to build it. We had Way City.
Yeah, I know,
So-
but I'm talking about for training purposes
I
back
know.
here at Lejeune after the Tet offensive.
You know what was ironic about that is that we were young. We were teenagers. I don't.
Mhm.
People may not realize, but the average age of the Vietnam vet was 19.
Yep.
World War II was 26. So the year before we were there, we were opening Christmas presents like a bicycle or a baseball mitt, you know.
Yep.
But anyway, what I'd like to say is the Marines were amazing because we had no training, but yet we worked it out on the spot. We figured out tactics on how to breach a room, who went in first. And what was ironic about that is I was later on FBI SWAT teams.
Right.
And we were
Came in handy, didn't it?
well, no, you know what I mean? It came in handy. Yeah, it did. But we were doing the same stuff that I later learned was the stuff to do when we were 19-year-old Marines in Way City.
So
Breaching rooms, breaching buildings, how to get in.
you went there first. You went there before the Bureau did, before all the other agents went through it? Or did the Bureau have this at the time?
No.
They didn't have the training. Okay.
Well, we had what do you call Hogan's Alley. But
Well, that's a different one.
yeah, it's a totally different environment.
Well, you came a long ways after that, got out of the Marine Corps and said, I don't need to do this anymore. You didn't want to retire, huh?
The Marine, no, I was out. I had when you had 3 Purple Hearts back then. No, I'm serious. You couldn't.
Yeah, automatic disposal, right?
Yeah, well, you could go back. You could volunteer, but the problem was I had less than a year left on my enlistment. So they said to me, it was called an early out. You either re-enlist and you can go back to Vietnam, or we won't let you go back to Vietnam.
Yeah, sure.
And I really didn't want to go back to Vietnam.
Why? Great land of opportunity.
I had already enrolled back into college, and I was set to go back to college.
So you did that, then you got out of college, and then you said, well, I just need me one of them desk jobs out there. I need to go find something I can do that's going to be safe, calm, cool, collected, no stress.
Well, no, actually, for 10 years, I worked with severely handicapped children and adults.
So you did that.
For a decade.
I didn't know you did that long. I knew you had a
10 years, yeah.
little time and grade there.
Which was very
calming.
rewarding. It was when you had these large institutions looked like horror films, and I worked for a nonprofit, then I worked for the state. We were deinstitutionalizing the highest functioning developmentally disabled adults out of these places. And I remember the horror up to this place called Polk State School and Hospital on this mountain in Pennsylvania, and it looked like a horror film. And I went in this room, and it was like little ambient light, and I adjusted my eyes, and I saw human beings in fruit carts.
Say what?
Yeah, like in these carts. And so anyway, but what we did is we got them out. We got the highest functioning. There were people in there, and I'm not saying this to be, flippant, that were smarter than me easily. Like I'll give you one example. I went back up to this institution. My job was to get them out, and it was piano music. And I went over, and there was a young woman playing the piano, and she was blind. You can see. And I sat down next to her, and I spoke with her. And she was a musical savant, but high intelligence, And so we had a conversation, and I went to go see the superintendent. And I said, the girl playing the piano in the atrium, why is she here? And he said, well, on Sundays, parents and family come to visit, and she plays the piano. And I said, Joe,
That's the reason you keep her here for entertainment?
Yeah, that was the mentality.
Oh.
Yeah, that was the so anyway, we got her out within a week.
Oh, good.
Yeah. I think she's playing piano in some bar in Peoria. No, I'm just kidding.
Probably doing very well.
Yeah, right.
Ray Charles. Okay, 10 years out of that, 10 years out of combat. Then you decide, for some reason, You needed some glamour and some glory and some excitement in your life. Pushing pencils for Mr. Hoover.
Well, I didn't push pencils for Mr. Hoover, but yeah, then the easiest transition for military is law enforcement.
Right. Yep.
That's the smoothest transition because the cultures are very similar. Chain of command,
Yes.
brotherhood. Yeah, I joined the FBI, and as you can see, I'm not tall and Aryan looking, so I went undercover.
Mhm.
Undercover.
Yeah.
Undercover in the bureau.
Yeah.
You were out there trying to bust some drug, some pot pushers or something on the corner.
No. The mafiosa.
That group.
La Cosa Nostra was my.
The Italiano folks. Sicilian.
I grew up at 17th and Tasker in South Philly, and
So you fit right in.
well, you have to know the culture. That's an interesting point you just
Mhm.
made. I remember there was a guy, I can't remember his name, but he was very Italian looking, bodybuilder, mustache, the whole thing. The problem, he grew up on a farm,
Oh,
and he didn't know the culture.
so the mafia folks did not come from the farm. They did not have that mentality.
No, there's just like the military, there's a
Uh-huh.
culture there. And like, for example, this guy, I took him into a meeting, and it was made guys, there were soldiers, there was associates. And
You took him into a mob meeting.
yeah, I was going to introduce him. No, he was an undercover
Hey, I know
certified
what
guy.
you mean. But
And so we sat down for dinner, and he sat right next to the capo, and I had to grab him. I said, no, we're at the kiddies table down here. And they questioned me on that. They said, how well do you know that guy? And I knew what they were saying. You know why I know what they were saying? Because later in the dinner, he's talking to this guy about cars.
oh, he didn't do that word, did he?
He did. And he said,
Vehicle.
yeah, well, not only did he say vehicle, but he said maroon vehicle.
Oh,
And let me tell you something. Wise guys don't know. They know basic colors. like
red or blue or
Yeah,
green or
black
yellow.
and white, basically.
Yeah.
But so I knew that they were going to say something. So I preempted. I called the guy, and they said, how well do you know that guy? I don't know him, man. I don't know. Not well.
Never seen him before in my life.
And he looked at me and said, chase him.
Yeah, get rid of him.
Get rid of him. Yeah.
Wow. How long were you there doing this kind of junk?
All told, 8 years.
Deep cover in the mob.
Yeah.
And a lot of cops spend maybe up to 6 months undercover working drugs or doing whatever, right, at a time. I mean, that's kind of a no. In Jacksonville, it could be 3 nights when you're working the streets of Jacksonville downtown or something. You put downtown to see if you can buy some dope or have the hookers hit on you. That's the way it used to be.
I don't know that.
Oh, I do.
Yeah.
They would have you. That wasn't my job, but that's what they would get you to do. Somebody would come along,
Yeah.
and there was one detective that we all know. He would con anybody who was new and young to go do things like that. You look like a young dumb Marine out here, right out of Paris Island. So why don't you go out there and look like that and see what they do? That was the training.
Did you have to say y'all instead of use guys?
No. Y'all did not really exist too much in Jacksonville proper,
Yeah.
because the vast majority of the people we dealt with were not y'alls. They were used, a lot of them. They came from other places. They didn't come from the farm of rich lands or anywhere like that. So, you just spoke normal, basically what I consider normal talk, was because I grew up in high school around here. We did not have a lot of just local guys from here. Half of my class were Marine dependents. Most of them did not finish high school here. My graduating class, I've never seen most of them again, even at reunions, because they were military dependents. They were for a year, year and a half. They got moved out sometimes in mid-school year.
Yeah.
So I grew up with listening to them. We all talked like that,
Like what?
like a. It's not y'all. Yeah, y'all. Come on. No, we didn't do that. That's just not the way we talk in Jacksonville. Now, you can go outside Jacksonville a ways, and that's what you're going to get.
Hey, I love the South. I'm going on record.
I know you
I'm
do.
going on record. It's just, I feel like,
Pecan or pecan?
what is it?
Pecan.
Pecan. Gravy, not sauce. It's gravy.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Sauce is
Thank
something you drink, isn't it?
I
I've
don't know.
never heard it called sauce.
Oh yeah. They mix a sauce like spaghetti sauce.
Well, yeah, spaghetti sauce. You don't call it spaghetti gravy, but that's spaghetti sauce.
Go get them, Kelly.
Yeah, but I mean, it's gravy on mashed potatoes. That's gravy.
No,
period.
Smashed taters
You
get
don't
gravy.
call it potatoes with sauce. I'll fight somebody
Would
over
you
that
like some
statement.
sauce with your potatoes? What?
What? That's what they what?
What?
If they're going to put it in a glass and you drink it, that would be sauce, right, John?
What?
I'm not getting in this now. You're on your own, man.
Okay, in the bureau, you spent 8 years deep cover because you didn't even see the brass very much, did you?
No, it's funny. I spent almost 13 years out of the office.
Nice.
Because
He was camping somewhere.
And he walks back and like, wait, wow, they made a lot of changes since I was in here.
They
last.
moved this place around.
you know what? I moved out when I came back. They had computers. They didn't have computers, the agency.
Uh-huh.
Oh wow.
And I looked at this thing on my desk.
So what do I do with this? What channel does this
What
get?
is this?
Yeah.
Had to be retrofitted, did you?
No, I held out for as long as I could. But,
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Can you get me a clerk typist down here to handle this thing, please?
No, when I joined the bureau, they had steno pool. And
Oh yeah,
Oh,
they had the stenos you had to get.
stenographers.
they would come to your desk and you would dictate. They would do it shorthand, and then they.
I used to do shorthand.
Oh Lord.
I did. I took it in high school till our
I
teacher
didn't.
cried.
I looked
Yeah.
at my
Why
mom
would she
tried to
cry?
teach me that, and I
This
said that's
lady.
not going to work. No, it's not going to work.
The class.
Let's do Morse code. I'll do that, but you're
Mhm.
not going to teach.
I don't
me
know how to do Morse
stenography. I
code,
know
yeah.
that most people don't.
I don't. I
Don
won
did.
awards in that, but nowadays I couldn't tell you what a dot was.
No.
No. Mm-mm.
All right, times have changed a lot. You got out of the bureau, and they put you doing sort of normal things like flying too low in an airplane while you're trailing other people, right?
Well, and that's no, I did that in the bureau. It's
That's
funny.
what I'm talking about.
For 13 years, I was out of the office, and I was.
Did you have a license even?
No, I know. I was flown since 1970. The problem was I was a bad pilot. I really was. I was.
You
I'm
didn't,
laughing
follow, you
about
didn't follow directions, right?
No, what happened is I was the only civilian trained pilot in this pilots group. They were all Vietnam vet jet pilots.
Oh, okay.
And so I was a horrible pilot. I mean, I thought my name was Right Rudder because evidently I never gave enough right rudder upon landing. We would
Oh
land
my
sideways. But we'd fly missions, and what it is the FBI aviation aviation photography or something.
FBO type stuff.
Yeah. So I spent 13 years out of the office, and it was culture shock when I went back in.
Did you have to say sir and be nice to the brass that were there?
No, the
Or did they
problem,
walk away from you?
that's a good point because, I came back in after, years of the F word, and
Uh-huh.
I didn't assimilate quickly.
Marine Corps and then working undercover in the mob. Yeah, I could see a problem.
Always a problem. It was. Anyway, I just one quick instance. I'm talking to this guy from headquarters, a supervisor, and he was an idiot. And so I went off on him. You're the reason terrorists succeed. Blah 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 blah. And
You told your boss that. I supervised it.
in headquarters.
Yeah.
I mean, I went off on him, and I used SOB, and
Uh-huh.
And so about 3 weeks later, my big boss, where I was passing me, and he said, "I got to talk to you." And he put his briefcase down on the floor. I'll never forget it. And he got a letter out, and he said, "You're being written up for insubordination." And he read this letter. This guy
Officially.
that this guy said it. And he said, "And you said this, and you said this, and he said, what do you got to say?" I said, "Holy hell, he got every word. I said all of that."
And supervisor, oh God. What is
That's exactly what he did.
Said, I got to get out of here.
That's exactly what he did.
Yeah.
And that brings up something, though. These
Okay.
supervisors in FBI office.
Yeah, well, that's where we're going to be heading.
We do not need FBI headquarters in you know, in my book, The Comey Gang, I went into what's wrong with the FBI.
Mhm.
And
There's a John, by the way, is an author, for those of you who do not know. And one of his books, all of his books, but three of them are in my mind. Dirty Boys, because that's the first one I got.
That's
The
my
Gunning,
favorite.
Yeah.
and then
The Comey Gang.
Comey Gang.
I need to read the Comey Gang.
Oh, then-
Yeah.
The Near Enemy,
Uh-huh.
and I had Larsa's Lives, and I had another one. I can't remember. I really can't remember. But,
It's an age thing. I'll tell you all
Comey
about it one day when I
Gang.
remember.
What is
but the
that?
Comey Gang was sort of foretold what happened with the FBI. I mean, for example, we got headquarters. The agents in the field would call headquarters the obstruction palace, because all they did was obstruct what you were trying to do in the field. And I don't know how many agents are there, a few hundred, 300, 400. They shouldn't be there. They should be out in the field. We do not need headquarters. And if President Trump appoints whoever he appoints as FBI director, we need somebody with a law enforcement mind, because every FBI director has been an attorney. And Clarence Kelly, they all come from the justice bench. Now, what is the justice? It is a political agency, because the attorney general is appointed by the president. So anyway, before Mueller, we would open up cases without we would do it internally in the FBI. I'd go to my boss and say, I want to open up a case on the Clinton Foundation. I have probable cause. And I'd investigate. At the end of my investigation, I would write up a report, prosecutor review, and take it over to the Justice Department, U.S. Attorney in my division, and they would look at it. Now, if I want to open up a case on the Clinton Foundation, I would have to ask the Justice Department permission to open it. And this actually happened. Agents in New York wanted to open up a case on the Clinton Foundation, and the Attorney General, who was it, Loretta?
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yes, I know. I'll give it to you in a minute.
She said, you can't do it. So what you have is they ran interference for their cronies, their side of the, and
Lynch.
Yep.
Lynch.
Lynch.
So we need permission now to open up cases. The FBI was independent. We are no longer independent. We are an arm of the Justice Department,
Which is a politically appointed group.
who weaponized us.
You've often described the real people, the men and women of the Bureau, of which there are thousands, as brick agents. Now, I know what you're talking about. What is a brick agent?
Well, I'll give you, Louis Allen, bless his soul, was my boss. And he would come out in the morning, if you were there past like 9, 10 o'clock, and he'd look around and he'd scream, I don't see any criminals here. Like, in other words, get your butt out on the street.
Can't arrest anybody in here.
Right. Well, there should be some people.
Well, I
there.
understand that.
Yeah. So that's what a brick agent does. And you get out there.
They actually work the streets. They go out and door to door if necessary. They do whatever good cops do, right?
Yeah. Here's the problem we have right now. 20 years ago, 25 years ago, the stench of the FBI was in the 7th floor of headquarters. And what's happened now is so many years have passed and they infiltrated the stench down to the division. So So if whoever the director is, they're going to have to do some deep surgery to get out all these people that are that have their goals wrong, have the mission wrong. Our mission is to put people in jail, not to put liberals in jail or conservatives in jail or black people in jail, just criminals. And people would say to me, how could you go against your race, your Italians? I said, I don't go against Italians. I go against criminals. I don't look at what they
Come in all shapes, sizes, and colors, don't they?
So that's what's wrong with the Bureau now.
When you came back, we'll just go real quick. Did some of the brass, wherever you ended up at headquarters or wherever, did they say, because, we got this guy here, he worked in the mob, but you know what? He didn't just arrest mobsters. there were a bunch of other people that you took down too that wore badges, right?
Yeah, I don't even like
That had to give you a good reputation amongst your fellow cops.
the cops where I was working. No, they were great. What happened was it was a sting, and I have to explain it now that you brought it up. We arrested one of the largest corruption stings in the history of the United States. In a gentleman's club,
A
and
strip.
you might call it a strip joint, but
They keep their clothes on all the time.
not many.
Okay.
All right,
Oh, here we go.
that was my backstop.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want to go there every day for years, but the bureau said you have to, so I did. And I forgot what were we talking about? Oh, the cops. Excuse me.
Handcuffs were tough.
No, I had a video. I went. Never mind. My imagery went to the club for a
I'm
second.
sure
I'm
they
back
did.
with you. Back with you.
You're back.
So what
Back with
happened?
ya.
We were targeting organized crime figures because, believe it or not, wise guys go to strip joints.
Oh no, no, really?
Who would have thought that?
Yeah. And what happened is in the undercover world, that's my backstopping. You have to have a history. When somebody looks at you, they can't think, well, what's he do?
Mm-hmm.
So for like Donnie Brasco, he was a diamond thief and I was a club guy. And so they would come and I would get them lap dances and free booze. And there was a floorman. I'm not going to give you his name. And he came up to me one time and he said, he sees me, and he thought I was a wise guy. I was surrounded by wise guys.
Mm-hmm.
He says, I could get you cops if you want to do anything. And I said, what are you talking about? He said, anything. Now,
Oh Lord,
now, my father was a Philadelphia cop.
I understand.
And I said, I don't want to have anything to do with cops. You understand me? And so he brought it up again a few months later, and he went deeper into anything. And I said, don't talk to me about this. I wanted no dealings with corrupt police. I was after Italians. And about the fourth time, I mentioned it to my contact agent. He said, well, you got to pursue it. And thus began a horrible period for me where these cops were on videotape, accepting bribes for protecting drug shipments.
Mm.
It got so bad. One cop came, we had a drug shipment at an airport and we needed protection. He came in his Dare car.
Oh my!
Good.
Really?
Oh my!
Yeah,
Now, that's
brazen.
pretty.
That's pretty brazen, man.
Wow.
That's
it broke my heart. It did. It broke my heart. I didn't want nothing to do with it. But
you got to do what you got to do.
Shoo-wee.
Oh my!
and you know about the cops later on? The cops in the area said, "Good for you," because they knew.
The good cops,
That's right. They knew some of these guys and said we knew they were bad.
and we couldn't do anything about it because it was bad to the top quite often.
Right.
Mm.
Yeah.
That's where the problem gets to be.
Wow.
They're protected. So, well, God, well, good for you.
Yeah.
You're in my marriage.
That final hearing on the House Task Force yesterday. The failures of the Secret Service. Representative Pat Fallon out of Texas was grilling the acting director, Ronald Rowe. And
That guy lost his
they
mind.
got into the biggest shouting
Yes.
match. I thought they were going to get up and duke it out.
I was like,
Look, I
just came
retreated
home
in
from
my
work
own
and it was on
living
the
room.
news, and I walked in to hear this. Like children, I've never seen anything like it.
Screaming.
And mom's like, this has been going on for a while now. I'm like, what in the world?
Yes.
Yeah, you need to go.
You need to go watch
I stayed
that.
away from all of that watching that
I
stuff.
was
Me
just
too.
like, what is happening right now?
Look, I
Embarrassing.
got scared in my own living room.
Yeah.
It got so heated on the TV, and I was like going, "Oh!"
It just made us look even worse.
I got
Our government
my
looked
safe
bad.
house here.
Yeah.
Some of those other
Well
congressmen
protected.
were trying to get them to stop. I really thought they were going to end up
Mhm.
getting physical.
Like a
That would have
Hamilton
been
Bird duel.
fantastic.
It
That would have
Good
been
for your show.
No, I don't have a show, but I mean,
You got a
you mean my
podcast.
podcast?
Yeah,
I got
your
a
podcast,
podcast.
yeah.
No, that would have been good. They need to fight. They need to duel there. They
Well,
need to have
I
duels
was
again.
expecting to see a duel. I mean, like,
Uh-huh.
let's go out in the lobby and get it on because it was like,
Yeah.
what in
Be
the
like,
world?
you want to go outside?
Yeah,
Still outside.
it was. I've seen elementary school kids act better than this.
Oh, it was fierce. You'll have
Right
to go
on the
back and
news,
watch
right
the
on the
clips
news,
of it.
yeah.
It was.
And we got our protection detail coming in now.
All right,
You know,
Lee, you'll move over here.
Bruce
Yeah, I'm gonna
Gumbar, a
stay
lot of
right
people
here.
know
Let her sit there.
Bruce Gumbar, and his
Uh-huh.
brother is a Secret Service, was my era. And they feel the same way that the FBI agents did.
Yeah.
It's gotten ridiculous.
Yeah, I know. We got one of my friends and friends of the show here is a friend of the show. He's retired Secret Service, lives in North Carolina now. There's a bunch of them living down in North Carolina, but he's down there in the Brunswick County area, was in Sneeze Ferry, but he's down in
I
the
like
Brunswick
her.
area right now.
I like her. Her tumbler there. I wonder if
Oh.
she could get that in through Havelock.
Only
Skate
if she's
tonight.
armed. Got more guns than they got, you'd have to have. It's a different story. But anyway, John, we're going to take a real quick break here for a couple of minutes. We got a very nice lady in here, and she's not one of those bad cops that you had to arrest.
Well, I don't know yet.
Not yet, anyway.
No, I'm kidding.
Already.
Introduce you. I don't know whether you've met him or not, but he lives right in your neck of the woods, and your husband drives right by his house on a regular basis on the water.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And
Sergeant.
she's one of her favorites. When I contacted Sarah, I said, "We prefer Sergeant Smith, please."
Yeah, well, she's our concierge, sergeant
Yes.
in charge. Sergeant
I mean-
Vanessa Smith, retired special agent and former Marine, prior Marine, not former, prior Marine.
Get it right, bub.
Yeah,
Special
I'm working on
Agent
it. I work on it.
FBI.
Now, if you were a bad
Right.
Marine, you'd be an ex-Marine, right?
I don't know. That's an interesting question.
That's the way I put them anyway. But this is John Legato.
Nice
He
to
lives
meet you,
right,
Nice to
John.
meet
right
you.
downtown.
He's former FBI special agent.
Oh, that's cool. I was
Yeah.
listening a little bit on the way over
yeah.
here.
Oh, yeah.
He works-
So
He's got
really
stories.
cool story. Yeah. I was like, dang, I gotta go inside.
yeah, sometimes things get a little hairy in some places. That anyway, met John about 10 years ago or so. So he's one of the good guys.
That's very
Almost
good.
He's not a
10 years,
bureaucrat like they have up at the top of the political chain that's overwhelmed parts of the bureau.
Yeah.
Before we take that real quick break to talk about some crime stopping type stuff, crime prevention, not stopping, crime prevention
Staying
stuff that we
safe,
all
yes.
have to know
Christmas
about.
shopping.
You had one story, one of many stories, where you may have been invited to the table with the mobsters, and
Yeah.
where you were preparing for dinner,
Yeah.
and may have had a little vino
Oh,
involved,
the vino.
and got carried away with yourself.
I can't. I don't want to tell it, but
You gonna tell it?
all right. Look, I've been undercover 3
Minutes have expired. Go ahead.
We're in the back room of a social club. There's nobody there but us guys.
That's a strip
And I
joint.
did. I had 3 glasses of wine. My limit's 1. And feeling frisky. So the dinner's going along, and I'm thinking, you know me.
Yeah, you're gonna
Yeah.
cut it up, right?
So I hit the glass, So I stood up and I said, "Hey, I got bad news for you guys." And I said, "What? What, Johnny? What?" I said, "I'm a deep undercover agent for the FBI, and you guys are all under arrest. Get against the wall." There was maybe 3-4 seconds. It could have been an hour
Very
of silence.
quiet.
And then they start throwing, "Hey, Johnny," laughing.
And at that point in time, I sat down and shut up.
No, I don't know what I did. I don't know.
They did not believe you, though.
Oh, evidently, no, I wouldn't.
No, that's
That's
good.
a
Yeah,
good
because you
thing.
wouldn't be here today.
Concrete shoes at all, right?
Yeah, concrete shoes.
Yeah,
Stream station.
Don't tell that story anymore. Will you?
No, I love that story. 'Cause I could just see you doing it too. So anyway, Vanessa here's Sergeant Smith. When she's in here in uniform, she got to be sergeant. You know how that brass works, right?
That's right.
You're
So
right.
the sergeant here, we got this thing called Christmas on us, right?
We do.
And,
It's what, a couple days away?
It feels like it's 2 weeks and 4 days. Not
Oh,
that I'm
gosh.
counting, but I sometime or another I got to start shopping. I guess I don't know
Okay, braver.
what. It's not Christmas Eve. There's not as much to choose from, pick from on Christmas Eve. Just go in. What you got left? Okay, I'll take one of those and
There you
move
go.
on.
Mhm.
It works out for me every time. See the same people there year after year after year too. But anyway, people are going out there are buying and they're shopping till they drop. They bring all the stuff back to the cars. This is one scenario, right? In the mall shopping lot or parking lot or a shopping center parking lot. They're going from place to place to place, wheeling their buggies full of good stuff out there, throwing it in their cars and heading right back in to get some more, right?
Typically, yeah.
And come back and they got an empty car.
Yes. Because they forget to lock their car. Or
How about that? It's not
Yeah.
people breaking in; they're just opening the doors.
Yeah, I would say 90% of the time they're just opening the doors.
Well, y'all got people working the parking lots.
Correct.
Good. Jacksonville Police Department. You got people out there. I know the Onslow Sheriff's Office is out in the county doing some stuff too, very similar. And some of the people that you got out there, you don't know that they're the popo, right?
Correct. Correct. Sometimes you don't know
They
that.
could look just like John or whatever.
Oh,
But,
yeah.
So, folks, if you're going shopping, you're going to load your car up. Some of the advice is
Sure. Some of the advice is lock your car. Number one, when you put your packages in your vehicle, don't put them in the front seat where it's visible. Put them in the back, put them in the trunk, put them somewhere where you're not going to see them. Keep your purse close to you, ladies. Gentlemen, keep your wallets in your pockets. So just be mindful about where you have those keys and your wallets and all those things.
Lee and I were talking yesterday. I've been shopping and I've watched, not during the holiday season, just going down an aisle, for instance, and there's a shopping cart empty with a purse lying in there and a wallet inside. And then a lady comes from around the corner, the other aisle, and she comes back to her cart. I'm like, really? One of them I did harass.
I'm sure you did.
I said, that wallet, I got your wallet. You want it back?
Oh, gosh.
It's a wonder you didn't get beat up.
I made to make sure she was smaller than I was. I didn't gonna get whooped up on.
Okay, I'm sorry.
But things like that do happen.
Yes.
Right.
Yes, they do.
If you get a minute, would you write down the password for the? I can't remember it exactly for John.
You think I can?
I swear I need to write that down somewhere so I don't have to bother you. But oh yeah, we were talking about that yesterday because I have this habit. Like generally, I like to stick it down on the bottom of the cart, my purse, and then put groceries over it. You know, so it's not visible. But sometimes when I first walk in the door, those child safety straps. Yep. I'll weed it through my purse area handles and whatever, and hook it so nobody can just grab it and run. But. It's like I was telling him, I see so many women that I've seen them with the purse wide open and the wallet right there. And they're just walking along looking at other stuff. and then walk away from the cart to look at something. So,
yeah, the situational awareness, right?
Yes.
We've got to be careful of where we're at all times, especially during the holiday season.
right.
So locking it in, like you said.
Yeah.
If you carry just, your phone and you put your card on the back side and it's in your pocket, that's a little
That's
easier
right.
as well too.
That's right. Yeah.
So,
Because sometimes, like putting your card or your wallet in your back pocket, somebody could walk up to you and create a scenario to distract you while they just lift that right out.
they could. I would say the probability of that happening is lesser than the leaving it in the grocery cart.
Right.
Especially unattended because you walk away.
Right.
So, just encourage people to be mindful
Right.
of your surroundings. All right. Look what you're doing. So be careful.
Now, a lot of people shop during the afternoon or the evening when it's dark, when they get off work, and it's dark at 5 o'clock now. And then,
I hate it.
yeah, I do too. But a lot of those folks will take out a whole load of stuff to their cars, and they're not paying any attention to who's out there walking the parking lot.
Yes. So if you're shopping at dark, please park in a well-lit area. I mean, most of our parking lots here, the mall, Walmarts, whatever, they've got lights. Park underneath the lights where you're a little bit more visible.
If you happen to be one of those people, do you sit in the car because you don't want to go inside with your significant other to do any shopping, and you want to sit there and listen to the tunes or whatever? If you are a smart one and you just kind of look and you see some dude walking up and down the rows of cars, by the way, and they're trying the car handles, and it's obviously not their car. They keep going from car to car. 911 is your
Please.
favorite number.
Yes, please do. Please
Do
call
that.
us.
They don't mind. They don't mind finding that's not the right person. Just, go do that.
Yeah. Make sure you get a really good description of what they look
Mhm.
like, from
Shoes
gender
are
to
important, too.
color, shoes, clothing description, all the things.
Now, Christmas Day, you open up all those big old gifts and you got that 65-inch TV set, and
Oh,
then you're going to leave in a little while and go to
Mhm.
grandma's house for the weekend of the month.
That
And
is
you
one of
dump
my
your
pet
garbage outside,
peeves.
right?
Oh, yes. You can just drive around and see what everybody got for Christmas based upon their boxes. Keep those boxes in your garage or your laundry room or wherever until the day of pickup.
Yeah.
Or break them down, take them to the dump yourself.
Or you can set fire to them in the street and the fire department will come along and put them out for you.
I do not condone that.
Don't do things
I live in the
like
county, so my rules are a little bit different.
Mhm. Don't do things like that. But seriously, don't leave anything outside that's going to advertise what you've got inside.
Mhm.
And especially when you're packing the car and people are driving around looking for opportunities. There's a word there that John knows about, I know about, you know about. It's opportunity. That often plays into criminal activity as much as anything else.
Yeah, especially for dumb criminals. Smart ones playing.
Yeah, but anyway, yeah, they look for these opportunities, and don't make yourself
An
such
easy
a target.
Mhm.
Right.
I'd like to come home from my trip and have all my stuff there.
Mhm.
Security, everybody, not everybody, a lot of folks these days have these Ring doorbell cameras and other security cameras all around the places. There's one in here. There's you guys went through 4 before you got to the door this morning. So you're all recorded everywhere. But a lot of people have things not necessarily that extensive, and I don't mind telling you that they're here. I want you to know how bad you're going to feel once you
I'm sure you didn't
once
even
you
have
get
to tell
something.
us and we would know.
Yeah, I know you would know, but I'm talking about other people.
Correct.
You come up here. I mean, I got Christmas decorations, and we're putting up more. But they're all on camera,
Mhm.
and you're not going to be able to get to the cameras. Besides, that's recorded on a computer. Why do people even consider doing this? Postal fees?
Oh, yeah,
Porch
The
pirates?
porch pirates. Yes. Because
Oh.
again, it's an easy opportunity.
Mhm.
Right. So the cameras, they're super helpful. So if somebody has the opportunity to put those cameras up, put them up. Get those packages out.
You guys, if you go and you come up on suspicious activity, or somebody calls and said, "Hey, my stuff was stolen from my porch," and my camera's not working. I don't have a camera yet. Now I'm going to go get one after the horses left the barn, but I'm going to get one, which is good.
Mhm.
But if you go and you look around the area, you might find those same people on somebody else's camera, right? So
Yes.
if you hear about bad people doing bad things in your neighborhood, go ahead and check your cameras too while you're at it.
Yes.
They may not do it to your house, but you may have caught them in action.
Everybody's got a camera now.
So
I think it's great.
that can be some of the police department's best tools these days.
Mhm. And there's tons of social sites, not just Facebook,
yeah.
but the neighborhood watch,
Yes.
and all those different programs that we do utilize to try to
like that
find a
next
bad
door
guy.
neighbor
Yeah, the
is
next door
great.
app.
Oh,
Mhm.
darn.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff on there.
What else are you guys warning folks about over Christmas?
Well, be careful. The pedestrians. So when you're driving through the parking lot,
Excellent. Yes.
please just be mindful. Right, there's lots of people. There's lots of kids.
And they're not paying any attention.
They're not. They're
And they-
typically not. So.
And they don't necessarily use the crosswalk.
Correct.
Yeah, they'll cross from anywhere.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Gotta-
So just be extra careful.
Right.
Give yourself extra time to get to wherever you're going. So.
Beat cop is a tough position. You got to have all eyes open on everybody all the time, right?
All the time. All the time. Head on a swivel.
You ever, when you're not wearing your uniform, you're out there just doing normal things that like a civilian does, that you ever run into things that you have to get involved in?
Not too often, but yes. I try to be a good witness, number one.
Mhm.
But yeah, just hang back and watch and call.
Well, good.
Very
Well, at least
good.
you know what to look for too.
Yes.
Any other particular crimes that have really surfaced in the last couple of years? We know the shopping areas. We know what's going to happen there. It's going to happen.
Correct.
We know that the people are going to break into your homes when they don't think you're at home looking for whatever. What else do folks need to be on the lookout for? I know traffic is huge around Christmas time.
Yes, it is.
We wrecks increase.
Mm-hmm.
And there's another thing called road checking stations that will be state, city, the county, all around the area. Y'all gonna have stuff out there in the middle of the night to surprise folks, right?
And in the day.
And in the day too. Really?
Yes.
I thought I was the only one that ever did that.
No, we have them during the day and during the night and whenever. So
I
other things
appreciate that.
yeah, yes, because it can get crazy out there sometimes.
Shopping malls,
Shopping malls.
neighborhoods.
Mhm. So
where you
we have our holiday task force. I know you know about it, but so our holiday task force, for those that don't know, we have officers that come in and work extra overtime to be mindful and watch those holiday areas. The busy shopping centers from Yop Road all the way out here to the Walmart. And another thing that we've had pop up recently is people trying to steal cars. So we've had some motorcycles stolen, and just last night
How do
they
they
had
steal cars? They got to have a key, right?
no, sir.
You don't have to have a key.
No, the two that were tried, they didn't succeed last night, but the two they tried to steal last night, they tried to hotwire. So, and they were Kias. So if you have a Kia, I have a
That's
Kia.
what I heard. They're the most
Um,
popular to steal
Yeah, they are. So
Really?
because they're the easiest to.
What you driving, John?
I don't know, but retirement job. There we go. Hyundai.
Okay.
Isn't that the second most popular one?
I think so, because the Kia and the
Yeah.
Hyundais are like the sister companies, I think.
Yes.
So they tried to
got a chain
hotwire them
for
last
you.
night.
Put a big chain around and lock it.
And so-
Old school.
Was
So here's the
Sergeant, I have a question for Sergeant Smith. I'm sorry, Redford. Scammers, like marketplace scammers at this time of the year. I mean, I know you have a parking area a lot near the public safety office
We do.
where people can meet people
Mhm.
to go through
Exchange.
it, exchange it, and do a transaction there, and that's being watched by cameras. But explain to people about how they need to be cautious about this marketplace.
Oh yeah, there's tons of scammers on Marketplace. So the first thing I would tell you is if they turn off the comments. If they just want you to private message them only and don't have a comment turned on, it's probably a scammer. Look at their profile, and sometimes you can just see their friends list. You can see what they don't have posted or what they do have
Or
posted.
their profile is locked.
Yes, their profile's locked. Don't even engage.
Mm-hmm.
Also, if they want you to send money before you even meet them, don't do that. But if you do have someone legitimate and you do have someone that you're actually going to buy stuff from, come to the police department. We have a whole area that has a sign in front of it that says exchange, because the cameras face right there. So if you park in safe.
Yeah, I've seen
That's
a
a good thing to
lot
know.
of scams on that marketplace recently. I think, it's up because it's Christmas and, people trying to get
Mhm.
gifts cheap, and these scammers they're going to scam you. We had, my sister had someone clone her Facebook page, steal her, somehow steal her email. I don't changed everything, and then started posting like, we just put our father in a nursing home and we're selling all this stuff. Had all these pictures of nice stuff for sale. And when people, and it said DM me for prices. Okay,
DM.
direct message. And so they would do that.
I wouldn't
And
know
we
what
even
you're
had a
talking about.
family member who didn't realize that he was related. It was crazy, but he paid $1,000 up front and then went to make arrangements to come pick it up, and then ended up realizing, oh, wait a minute, that's my cousin. Contacted me. I was like, no, it's a scam. But she actually had people coming and knocking on her door to pick up stuff that they had paid for, because the scammer was able to get her address, which is easy for anybody to get anybody's address,
Mhm.
and was sending people to her door. And I see the same post quite often with other
Mhm.
people on there. I'm like,
Man.
and they turn off the comments.
Yep.
Man, not
It's a
good.
scam.
Not good at all.
Yeah.
Sergeant, thank you. I understand you're not having traditional Christmas dinners. You're going to have fish, right?
No, we'll be out of town for the Thanksgiving or for Christmas.
Okay.
Good for you.
Um,
Get that time off.
Try to.
Her,
Yes.
her husband is a professional fishing guide. So
Yes.
he's up and down. I imagine he eats fish a lot, but she will never, as much as I've tried to get it out of her, and he always listens when she's on here because he knows what I'm trying to do. How often does he prep you and tell you not to tell me anything
He
about
did.
fishing?
I said, "Hey, I'm going on Rayford tomorrow." He was like, "Oh, are you though?" I said, "Yeah." He goes,
Kind
"I'll
of like
tell him."
uh-huh.
So I will say he's up in Vanceboro this morning fishing. So
Wow.
For trout,
I believe so.
big reds or trout. One or the
Probably
other.
trout.
Whereabouts
It's
in
a big
Vanceboro?
charter group. There's like a company that got 6 or 7 of them.
Whereabouts in Vanceboro?
I don't know. Somewhere. He was at the boat ramp earlier, according to his GPS.
Oh, can I see that? Find out where he is.
Yeah. Yeah,
Oh.
I'll show you on break.
All right.
So, any other tips you've got for us as far as out Christmas shopping? How about these ladies that go to the gas pumps and leave their car doors
Oh.
unlocked and their purses sitting on the front seat while they're getting gas?
Yes. So, and then that's really any time of the year too.
Yeah,
You
really.
know, be mindful, right? Put your purse in the driver's seat so that you can see it,
Right.
you know, or open
Lock
your
the door.
lock the door,
I put keys
open
in
the
my
passenger
pocket and
door.
lock the door. I don't trust anybody.
Yeah.
I'm not a trusting person
Yeah.
when it comes to being in public.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I've seen people even, but not so much today that you go in to pay for your gas. You get it at the pump, but
Correct.
I've seen people leave their car unlocked while they run inside. The car is running while
Car
they're
is
filling
running.
up with gasoline to go
Yes.
inside to pay for it.
I've seen that too.
Come back, what car?
it's really bad when you travel. Stop at that big place called Bucky's. You see that a lot down
Oh,
there.
Bucky's. I
There's a
love
place down in
Buc-ee's.
Florence where all the scammers hang out. By the way, folks, if you're running 95 south, you go into Florence. As you get into Florence, you'll find out the cheap gas, about 3 or 4 of them in a row. One of the first ones you come to. When you get out and you see somebody walking towards you from another car on the other side, begging you for gas money so they can get home because, oh, I've run out of gas and I need some money to get home. And no, put your hands up and say, get away from my space. They'll understand then. They'll leave you.
Well, that's
Mhm.
like bringing up too, stopping at rest areas in the middle of the night to use the facilities.
Oh,
Yeah. While that would probably be nice, it's,
Mhm.
again, situational awareness, right?
Right,
Like it's probably
right.
going to
Because
say
I had a friend that she was the wife of a ALE agent here, and she had stopped at a rest center to use the facilities and got attacked, got beat
All
up.
right.
Yeah.
Mm.
So
The gun didn't work.
she didn't have one.
I'm sorry. In North Carolina, by the way, there are a lot of public places that you cannot go. State
That's
property,
right.
yada yada yada. If you have a concealed carry permit, the rest stops are not one of them.
Right.
You can carry your gun into a rest stop
Mhm.
in North Carolina.
Yeah, just stop during the daytime.
Yes.
Stop
That's
there.
those
Well,
things.
some things happen at nighttime too. And the older
Well,
you get,
You're going to have to cut the
Go to
coffee
the
and the hot
gas
chocolate off
station.
early.
oh, I think the hot chocolate. But
Vanessa, well, this is a good, Sergeant Smith, this is a good question to ask you.
Okay.
How much trouble do you think we'll get into if we smuggle in hot chocolate to the football game tonight? It's in Havelock now, and they said we cannot bring any outside food or drink.
Just don't get caught.
I
I mean, goodness, it's only hot chocolate.
That's right.
You've had to heard our conversations on this every morning since we found out we couldn't take hot chocolate.
it's going to be
in.
cold.
Yeah, it's going to be free.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
And they won't let me
I,
carry my
I
hot
might get a
chocolate.
T-shirt printed up. Just don't get caught. I love that.
Oh,
That's not a
yeah.
bad idea.
I like that. Just
I do
don't
too.
get caught. Yeah, I have a feeling Havelock's already going to be on the lookout for us
Now,
tonight as much as we
I might wear
talked about it.
that gift that was given to me many years ago. The sweatshirt says it's got the pistol up here, and
Yes.
a big muzzle blast coming out of it. It says, "I don't dial 911. I am 911."
They might pay extra attention to you.
You might
Yeah,
might get the message right.
They-
Mhm. Okay.
Okay, I think we touched on it
We
real
did.
quick, but did we discuss about taking your empty boxes like after
I did.
Christmas Day and
We
putting
did.
them on the curb? Yes,
Don't do that.
okay. Don't do that.
Set fire to them in the street.
Go in the backyard,
Don't
lay
do
them
that.
out, take a water hose, water them down real good to where they're soft and mushy, and roll them up. throw them in
Leave
the
them in
can.
the house until you get back, and then stuff them in the trash can.
Yeah.
Get back from where? Where are we going?
Where people go out of town on Christmas Day, go see Grandma, whatever.
I'm just saying, don't, cut the boxes up.
Yes.
Yeah. Or take them to the dump yourself.
Yeah, it's really, and there's
Yeah,
really
there's
neat
tons of
box cutters now that are battery
I
operated.
got one out there.
You just like, and just, cut those boxes up.
And if you got a fireplace, you can recycle those boxes in
right.
there in little strips. They
That's
good,
right.
make good kindling to
I
get your big
agree.
wood started. That's what I do.
Rayford and Robbie buy some new toy, then Kelly and I have to go out and get it. We're like, oh, that's neat.
All right, Sergeant, thank you.
Yep.
We
my
wish
pleasure.
you-
Thank you for having me.
The best during the holiday season. Please
Thank you.
stay safe.
And
Absolutely.
if you see me,
We'll be calling you again.
and if you see me
Anytime.
somewhere shopping, that's not like going to be somewhere I'm shopping for food, something like that. If it's an expensive looking store, would you please stop me from being there?
I'll do my best.
Just stop me. I don't want.
You're probably buying
just-
fishing stuff anyways.
No,
Yeah.
no, I'm gonna sell some fishing stuff. I got too much.
He's got a boat for sale, big one.
Yeah, you want to buy a boat?
No. He already wants to buy another boat.
Tell
One's
Brad.
enough.
Tell Brad. Oh, I've got
Oh,
two.
there you
I
go.
just tell Brad he
One's
needs a
enough.
boat. I got
Set
a
the
big boat
stage
for Brad.
for you.
Yeah.
Okay, Brad, I got one for you.
Gosh. He'll love
John
it.
needs another boat.
There you go.
No. I don't.
All right. Sergeant, thank you.
Yep, my pleasure.
All right.
Thank you so
See you
much.
next go
Stay
around.
safe.
Yep. Have a good Christmas.
You
too.
too. Rain forecast brought to you by Community Prevention
Weather.
Services of Jacksonville. Many people out there, probably most, in fact, look forward to the Christmas season every year. Young kids actually get into the holiday season pretty much as fast, if not faster, than the big box stores do when they open up the Christmas season, sometime around July the 5th. The older some folks get, the more of a burden the holidays become. The holidays are depressing for a lot of folks who actually look forward to the excitement in the beginning. You may know someone who the day after Christmas, their jovial mood takes a nosedive. The excitement of the season is gone. When the guests are gone, it's gone. The excitement, the guests are gone. You don't know what to do. Your relatives, maybe you've got some, even close ones, will be gone. Sometimes for as much as a year. Next Christmas is the next time you get to see them. The lay people out there, we call it the Christmas blues. The excitement has come and gone, as have the kids and grandchildren. Makes it even worse for a single grandpa or grandmother. Loneliness can be a serious matter, leading to physical problems. Who have experienced such times in the past, it might be a good meet with professionals, such as those at Community Prevention Services of Jacksonville. They can help you work on a plan to deal with the issues. They've dealt with it all before at some point in time. Give them a call to set up a time to meet. 910-353-0972, Community Prevention Services of Jacksonville. Want to go offshore today? Good luck. If you had plans to run out there, don't turn around. There's a small craft advisory until about 10 o'clock this morning. Probably will trail off. It won't stop suddenly. Northerly winds 15 to 20, gusts to 25 knots this morning, seas 3 to 5. Occasionally up to 6 feet, almost the height of the ceiling. 2 to 3 near shore, but the inlets will be rough. Sounds and rivers choppy. Saturday, a better day. Northwesterly winds 10 to 15 knots. Seas only 2 to 3. Sounds and rivers a moderate chop. Sunday, the best day. 2 to 3 footers. Winds out of the west when the fishing is best. 10 to 15 knots.
Nice.
Now, what you got?
Okay.
I'll put you up.
Oh, pop me up. Today, sunny
Pleasure
with a
meeting
high
you.
near 43. Northwest wind 6 to 10 miles per hour with gusts as high as 16. Tonight, without a hot chocolate, it's going to be clear with a low around 20. Saturday, sunny with a high near 48. And Sunday, sunny with a high near 61.
Well, it's down up to 24 degrees in the backyard here right now.
Ooh,
24
well,
degrees out
okay.
there
I'm
officially. Really? Yep.
changing over.
Yeah. So, it's always good to have Sergeant Smith in here. She's a determined young police officer.
She's
So,
squared away.
She is squared. Yeah, I
Squared
haven't
away.
heard anybody else say that but me in a long time.
Yeah.
But she is a squared away.
I would say
police
she's
officer.
probably my favorite. When she comes in here, she's businesslike, but she's pleasant and she's fun and she tells it like it is.
And she's a good conversationalist
Yes,
all the
she
way
is.
around. And,
Yes.
And her husband, well, he's another story, but anyway.
Well, I'll always remember, don't get caught.
Right. Yeah.
That means you need a fast car, right?
I was trying to.
You know what's faster than all those police cars?
What?
Those radios. They're 186,000 miles per second. That's the speed of radio sound. Did you know that?
I didn't know that.
It's the same as the speed of light.
Wow.
You're hard to get away from that.
Yeah.
And then there's the airplanes that fly so low you get lost. You have to have an escort overhead to direct you to where you're supposed to be, right?
I have actually, during my student pilot days, going down the interstate to look at a billboard to see where I was. Ramada in 8 miles. I was like, yeah.
Done a lot of photography from the air, and you hire a pilot and do all that sort of good stuff. And when I get a new pilot, I'm like, okay, I know where I am. I don't know whether he knows where he is or not, or how long he's been flying this area, or whether he came in from Kilstead or somewhere. That doesn't know the ground. I know the ground. I know what the ground looks like where I'm shooting, because that's what I'm shooting. I'm not shooting clouds. So it's always fun. And as a guy that rides in the airplane, especially in a neck of the woods like we have around here, with lots of really low other aircraft, I'm always looking. I don't care what we're doing. He's looking. He's talking to the tower, and they're telling him stuff. But I'm always doing one of these left and right things as hard as I can, and up. I look up overhead as best I can.
12 o'clock high.
That's right, because I don't want to be on 6 o'clock low. John, author of a bunch of really cool books.
Dirty
And
Boys. I remember
That was
yeah.
my number. That was my
Yeah.
first one, and I've still got
Right.
an extra copy. sitting
And the
right up there.
gunny. The gunny was one that we were trying to think of earlier.
I
That was
just
a good one.
re-released that on Amazon. It
Yeah.
just came out. So just the gunny is the story of Medal of Honor recipient John Canley.
Mhm.
Right.
And it's basically 2 months in Vietnam, Contian in 67 and Way City in 68. We had 2 Medal of Honor recipients. We had no commissioned officers for the first 4 days of Way. And
Why didn't you have any commissioned officers?
they kept, getting wounded and stuff.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. We went in about 100 Marines. And our 21-year-old sergeant and our 26-year-old gunny both won the Medal of Honor. And the rest of us were 19-year-old lance corporals.
And it was a bear to get this through the folks up there who make these decisions in some cases, right?
It took 13 years.
And it took 13 years because they needed evidence that didn't exist anymore.
Well,
Can't get evidence from dead people, can you?
well, that was, they wanted that happened. I got a call from the Pentagon or Marine Corps headquarters and saying, he said, sir, my only job in this Medal of Honor is the packet is to make sure the packet's complete. That's all I do. I don't judge valor. And your packet's incomplete. I said, no, it isn't. And this went on a while, and he said, your endorsement page, which was, I had to get everybody in the chain of command to endorse it. Not that they saw anything, but just to endorse the Medal of Honor. And there were 13 from the commandant on down to the platoon commander. 11 were dead. So the 2 people that were alive signed it. And the rest, I put date of birth, date of death.
And he had a hard time understanding.
Well, he really did, because he kept saying to me, he says, I can't forward this packet because you have 11 missing signatures.
Oh, yeah.
And this went on, and I said, you realize they're dead? I thought, and he said, yes, sir. But my job is to check this box off, and I can't do it because the box says you have 11 missing signatures.
I hate bureaucracy.
It took me 6 months to find an adult.
I remember this story. So how is that progressing now? Are we?
That's done. That one's taken care of.
It's
That was
done?
a Medal of Honor. Yeah, this is a whole other thing that we could talk about. That's horrible. It's really a crime.
Well, are you working on the one for Major Capers now? Are you involved in that?
Yeah, and that's amazing. I have an official document. I'll just read a sentence of it to show you how bad it is at the Navy Board of Valors. We have documents. We have evidence, and I know what evidence is. That the heads in the Valor Board section And I'm going to read it. This is the Navy talking, not me. Found that the comments made, this was comments made concerning 6 Vietnam veterans by the president of the Valor Board in his email reflect a potential lack of impartiality. In the words of the president, created the appearance of impropriety in the Valor adjudication process, which calls the fairness of the president of the Valor Board into question and has the potential to undermine the confidence in the process.
What?
Yeah. What they're saying is the Valor Board, the Navy Valor Board is corrupt. And we have the evidence and nobody cares. Nobody cares. We submitted the evidence and
who are they to make that challenge?
Robin. Well, that's obvious by what you went through with trying to get that medal for
Sergeant Major Canley.
Yeah, Canley. And it was just unreal. The excuses that they kept giving you, like, oh, well, you didn't sign 11 places or whatever. I mean, it's stupid.
You know how bad this is? They said the only correction they can do for medals is if you have a material error or an injustice. Mm-hmm. And they said, but you can't appeal it back to the original board. But we have this thing called the Navy Board of Correction, right? And the Navy Board of Correction will correct. They're independent from the original Valor Board. Now, the original Valor Board, which rejected or denied or downgraded all the medals, was the president. His name is James Nearly. I'll give you his name. Mm-hmm. He rejected everything, or he supervised the rejection.
Now, he was on the board.
The president.
The president of the board.
Right.
And then?
So we appealed to this unbiased entity called the Navy Board of Correction.
And
8 months before they met, 8 months, we have a letter. I mean, this isn't like hearsay from the president of the board who already rejected it to the president of the Navy Board of Correction, Joseph Nicosia. And he said in this letter, dear Nick, first of all, it's a clue they know each other, right?
Yeah.
I highly, and I'm paraphrasing this, but it's very close. Italicized, underline, and bold. I highly recommend that you deny petitioners all appeal. So
that's just not right.
No, but it's like a judge telling a jury, "I'm going to. I wish you find them guilty." You know what I'm saying? And nobody did anything. Nobody. Look, we have the thing. How can they be fair and unbiased if you got the president of the board who already rejected it telling you to reject it, right?
What kind of weight do you think it would be for a judge, a Superior Court judge, whose case has been appealed to up the line in North Carolina to the Court of Appeals, for instance, and the said judge sends the Court of Appeals a letter says, you need to deny this. How far do you think that would go before it hit the media?
Right. The media, this is the media here.
This needs to be the media widespread.
Oh, but here's the thing. The Navy Board of Correction, though independent and unbiased, which they're not, cannot make changes. They have no authority to change anything. Mm-hmm. You know what they do? They make recommendations, right?
All right.
So say they found in favor of the vets. You know what they have to do? They have to send it back, the recommendations, to who?
To the same board.
The same guy. No, it's the same guy.
So you go a circle.
So he'd have
a vicious circle.
He'd have to overrule himself.
And he's not going to do that.
No, I mean, look, I'm saying this on the air for the record. The current Navy Board of Correction, or the current,
I think you're right the first time.
Corruption. That was not slip. The current Valor system under the SECNAP is corrupt. And Capers is Major Capers is an incident of this. I'll give you another case. A woman calls me from Philadelphia. She says, I'm an attorney. And my father was in Vietnam when you were there in 67, 68. He jumped on a grenade. And he was written up for the Medal of Honor, and they downgraded it to the Navy Cross. And I researched. She's an attorney. Mm-hmm. There were approximately 10, I forget the exact number, 10 Marines who jumped on grenades in Vietnam. Everyone got the Medal of Honor except my dad, she says.
Why?
You ready for this?
I bet I can tell you, but go ahead.
He lived. I've confirmed this. He lived. So the act of valor was jumping on the grenade. He
You
had
got to
no-
die to get.
This woman told me she wishes that she never, it changed their lives, her and her sister, because they appealed it for 20 years. And the mother died and they were bitter against the Marine Corps, the father. He's still alive, he's in ill health. But, and I sort of confirmed this about 3 months ago, that the only reason, but wait a minute. So she calls this James Nearly up.
Oh,
Yeah, she calls him up and she says, I'm so-and-so. And he said, now you ready for this? He said, how did you get my number? And she said, well, I went on the internet. I went on the Department of Navy. They had your name and number and I dialed it and you answered.
dummy.
Well,
I
the
like her.
arrogance of the
Yeah.
question.
Yeah,
the
right.
arrogance of the question. So she says to him, oh, Mr. Nearly, he says, I'm very familiar with your father's case. So she goes through the thing. 10 Marines jumped and he's the only one that didn't. And he said, according to her, not me, I think your information's wrong. So she said, I'll send you, not my information, I'll send you your information. So she did. He never heard another word from him.
What is?
Okay.
I just don't.
Does
know.
anybody want to help out there?
There needs to be some help out there. There really does. Robin, you there?
Yes, sir, I am.
I didn't even try to do it Philly way, okay?
How you doing?
I
Yeah,
you do.
hey, how you doing?
No, you can't.
Our occasion Asian not going to make
Yeah.
it easy.
Talk Southern if you want me to. You can't do it.
That's a really bad Southern one too.
You all got to go to accent school.
Accent school.
I just wanted to call and say hello to John. I admire you tremendously. Thank you for your service with the Marine Corps and with the FBI. You're a walking legend. I think the world of you. And when I heard your voice and I heard you being interviewed this morning, I had to make sure I reached out to you to say hi. It's always great to hear your voice, John, and I appreciate everything you're doing to these vets and trying to get people a Medal of Honor. I think it's a noble gesture on your part, and it shows your love for this country and for the veterans and for the people. And also let you know that when on the way to work, Kelly had to phone me from her doctor's office and let me know she just ordered your book, Comey's Gang, and and I think she ordered another copy for me so I could read it as well.
Oh,
At
really?
the same time, so I don't have to work. So I don't have to wait for her.
I would have let you borrow mine.
No, what are you talking about?
That takes money out of John's pocket.
Mine's personally autographed.
Mm.
Robin, coming from,
I'll be more.
I was going to say, coming from you, that's high praise because I respect you also. So thank you for the kind words.
You're absolutely. You're more than welcome, John. Like I said, it's always great to hear you. I'm not going to miss a chance when you're on the radio or anything to say hi to you. I got the deepest respect and admiration for you, and just keep doing what you're doing. And I hope you have a great Christmas, you and your family. And I hope to see you around sometime, bro.
Yeah, and me too, Robin. Let's get together after the holidays.
Absolutely, absolutely. But thanks, guys. That's all I wanted to say. And a great show. And again, good to hear John's voice and his
Always great to have him
It's
in
always great to have him.
here. Okay, Robin, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thanks, Robin.
Maybe when Robin decides not to run for county commissioner again, which will be, this is his last term, by the way, according to his wife.
Okay.
She has spoken several
Yeah.
So in about 4 years, maybe even in 2 years, when the next ones are up, or maybe you should be considering a run for political office. What do you think? Could be
No.
a stepping stone to the White House.
I can see John now getting up on top of the table and telling everyone to kiss his. Yeah.
Kiss my grits.
I can't see.
I agree with you.
Politics. We get the president is a president-elect, soon to be president, is coming up with people to put in high places, his cabinet, whatever. And one of the individuals, he wants to replace Chris Ray. Chris Ray, he actually appointed during his term.
Can I tell you about that?
Yeah, please. That's
Yeah.
where I'm going. I want your opinion.
Well,
Your take.
let's go with fact and then the opinion. he fired Comey. President Trump fired Comey
With cause.
with cause.
Mhm.
Christopher Wray, his two mentors in the FBI and Justice Department, were Bob Mueller and James Comey.
Right.
So what happened is Rosenstein goes up to the office after Trump fires Comey and says, "I got this great guy for you, Christopher Wray." Well, first of all, he said, "Would you rehire Bob Mueller?" He wanted Mueller to come
Right.
back.
Yep.
Trump said no. So he said, "I got this guy, Chris Wray." He never told him that Chris Wray, his two mentors were Comey and Mueller. And how I know this is that when President Bush passed the Homeland Security Act, Comey was an assistant attorney general, and Mueller was director of the FBI. And they didn't like the language. So the attorney general was John Ashcroft, and he's in the hospital. They go to the hospital room and they go in and they say, "Attorney General, we don't like this language. Could you get it changed? And if you don't, we're resigning." But Ashcroft agreed with what they did, and they changed the language. Do you know who was in the hallway of the hospital? Christopher Wray.
Rosie.
And he said
Really?
to them, "If you resign, I resign." Wray is a do-nothing suit. And
Empty suit.
yeah. And whoever Trump gets, and here's the beauty of his 4 years out of office, he's had time to realize all the people that basically screwed him.
Yep.
And Rosenstein was, the list goes on and on and on. And so whoever he gets, it's the FBI, he's going to make sure they're loyal to him, and he's going to point them in the direction he wants them pointed.
Mhm.
So it doesn't matter. People are talking about Patel, right?
Yep.
Good. Get Patel. Patel's just going to be the weapon, and I don't even like to use, but that Trump's going to use to right the ship. And the first thing Patel should do is get rid of half the people, or more than half, 3/4 of the people in headquarters. We do not need them. The subject matter experts are in the field. They're in the field. They're not headquarters. We don't need the legal division because probably 30% of FBI are attorneys.
Right.
And we have our own legal division.
Yep.
We have the greatest legal minds in the FBI, not, and think about this. The Justice Department culture is different than the FBI culture. They prosecute, we investigate.
Mhm.
They believe that they know more about investigation than we do.
Mm.
And so that's why you have a system now that if I wanted to open up a case against, say, a Democratic senator, they won't let you. The Biden administration will not let you.
Wow. We've talked before. A very tragic situation occurred back on 9/11, 23 years ago. That probably could have been prevented if action had been taken on information that FBI agents, brick agents in the field had developed. Send it on up the chain of command, and they said nothing to it. Is that right, or did I just screw something up?
No, that's unfortunately correct. Agents out of Minnesota were
Y'all need to listen who haven't heard this before.
They were watching Zachariah Moussa was the 20th hijacker or something.
Mhm.
And for a year, they sent Intelligence Surveillance Act warrant.
Yeah, with a dime and a cup of coffee, right?
Yeah, it's a rotating there, and they know the agents in headquarters that deal with FISA warrants. So I would come to you and say, Judge, Rayford, hey, how are you doing, John? Yeah, sign it. Yeah, sign it. This supervisory agent in headquarters kept saying, no, I'm rejecting. 70-something
Got saved
communications. And at one point they said, now Messiah was the one that spent $82,000 in cash on flying lessons. He's the one that uttered the words, "I just need to know how to take off. I don't need that." So these agents were onto something. At some point, they sent a communication to headquarters saying, maybe not verbatim, but we believe terrorists are going to fly airplanes into American skyscrapers. And
That specific.
yeah, it was pretty specific. And that
How many
agent-
skyscrapers do we think about when we think about skyscrapers in this country? In
Yeah.
New York, for the most part.
yeah. And he said that that's never going to happen. So what happens is the first plane hits, they're screaming. And they said, headquarters, the same headquarters people said, it's just a coincidence. The second plane hits and they get the FISA warrant and they find information that could have stopped 9/11 in Zachariah Moussaous's effects.
So where are those individuals right after 9/11, those FBI personnel, I'm not going to call them agents at headquarters. What happened to them?
They promoted the main one. They promoted him.
You're trying to make me cuss, aren't you?
They promoted him. No, listen, how I know is they promoted him and sent him to the office I was. And he, anyway.
I'm just, the first time you told me this, I know this can't be right. But folks, it's absolutely 110% correct.
Yeah, I mean,
Accurate.
look, if people
You
are
want to know
doubting
what the
this,
problem is in this country? Them, us.
if you're doubting me, if you're listening, just Google words to the effect Minnesota agents at 9/11, how that could have been, and they'll give you the names of the people involved. And I can't remember the agent's name, but that's all you have to do. 9/11, man. No problem.
I don't understand why. If I was a media person anymore, doing regular mainstream media, this is not media. This is comments. This is editorial. This is my personal opinions. 99% of it, with a few facts thrown in. But if I was in the media, I'd make a career out of that.
You can get.
I would have made a freaking career out of it if I had known it back in the day and right after 9/11.
You could do a Pulitzer on a lot of things. Yeah,
Absolutely.
you can do a series of articles.
What happened to Woodward and Bernstein? That's all it would have taken to somebody like that, not them. What's taken somebody like that to just bulldogs, grab this one and just keep on going.
How about this thing? The corruption of the Valor Board.
Oh, yeah,
that's
that's
the
a
sacred thing there is the combat American veterans.
The problem is we don't have anybody in the media with any kind of military experience. They don't even understand what this
Well,
is
look,
about.
JD
do
Vance
they?
is going to be in the mountains today. Let's
He's
go
not-
get a hold of
he's
him.
not a member of the media.
I know that, but he's a
I know
former
who he is,
Marine.
though. I know who he is, who's going to likely be up there unless they kick him out. Our friend from Fox.
Oh, Pete.
Uh-huh.
You have connection with him.
Mm-hmm.
I look,
You want a connection with him, don't you?
absolutely.
Oh, let's stir up some stuff.
Yeah, let's start. And here's another thing about how bad the Navy is. Nearly's boss is the Manpower Assistant Secretary of the Navy.
Okay.
So Nearly will say, and he has said, I don't make decisions, I make recommendations. So guess who his immediate supervisor that he takes his recommendations to is a guy by the name of Franklin Parker, Assistant Secretary of Manpower for the
Okay.
Navy.
Don't know him, but
Yeah. He is a Harvard attorney with no military experience. So if I'm if I'm the president of this board for 18 years and I come to you and say, Mr. Assistant Secretary, these are my recommendations. He has no way of judging valor. This guy's the subject matter expert, Nearly.
Mhm.
It's a scam. They're running this, and they cannot a review of the cases. In other words, first of all, if the Navy said this, that he unduly influenced and accepted the process, how do we know that it's just one case?
we don't.
We don't.
You would assume that there are others.
Well, it seems like everyone you get involved in, there's issues. So it's got to be,
Major
Maybe it's you.
capers.
yes, Major Caper's another example.
How about, I don't know if we have time, Doris Miller.
We got all the time we want these days. I'd go forever.
Doris Miller, people don't know the name, but they've seen him in movies, was the black mess man on the USS West Virginia when the Japanese attacked
I
Pearl
remember
Harbor.
it. He's the one that manned the machine gun.
Man, the
Right.
machine
Never
gun.
fired a machine gun in his life.
Right. What does this got to do with James Nearly? Well, I'll tell you. About, I don't know, he's been there like 16 years. I forget. 2008 he came. How many years that is, but so they had been trying to get Doris Miller the Medal of Honor. He'd been recommended.
Mhm.
And there in 2000, 15 maybe, the president mandated a review of minorities who won the second highest Valor Award. And they put in and they reviewed them, and a bunch of them got upgraded to the Medal of Honor.
Not a bad plan, by the way.
No, there was systemic racism. I
Mhm.
got chapters and books on that. You wouldn't believe the systemic racism.
Oh, I would.
Oh,
I mean, no, but anyway, so they don't put Miller in. And this woman, and I have the article, it's in a magazine, writes this thing in a magazine article. Now, how nearly justifies denying is two ways. He said there's no new information, new eyewitness statements.
Yeah, and
Yeah, no, we're talking about something like 70 years ago.
yeah, and
So this woman, and he denied the review for Doris Miller's Medal of Honor, saying that there's no new evidence. And she, I don't have her exact words, but she says, Mr. Nearly, you don't understand what the appeal's about. It's not about we have no new information. Everybody's dead. It was based on systemic racism. If you don't understand this in so many words, then she inferred that it's racist. His decision was racist.
mm-hmm.
And but nobody cares about that either. Nobody cares about because it's done. The decision's made. He deserved the Medal of Honor.
Mr. Nearly
Yes, he
deserves a
did.
trip.
Well, he's there forever.
No, he's not.
He's running. He's running the show. He is the one person. He makes a decision. It gets appealed. He makes the decision on the appeal.
Who does he work for? Who signs his check on? Who signs his own check on the front? Not him, but who above him signs his name on the front?
Del Toro, and he's part of it.
No.
Did I tell you I put my finger in
Oh,
the cabinet level officer?
No.
I didn't tell you that one.
No. This is going to be. Are you still here with us and you didn't get arrested?
I got a lot of eyewitnesses. I went to breakfast with him and I had a packet because what I thought was going on, know what was going on. He was in the dark. So I didn't want to discuss the case. So I went up to him and I said, Mr. Secretary, here's a envelope full of things you might want to know. If you don't know it, if you know it, then disregard it.
Jeez.
He gets aggressive and said, what do you mean that I don't know? I know everything that's going on. He didn't even know what I was saying. And he got loud.
oh,
Oh, did he?
Yeah, real loud.
Oh.
And I said, so I go to walk away. I'm Italian.
Yeah. It
And,
doesn't last long.
and he said something, very facetiously. I'm just trying to get out of there now because,
Before you get into trouble.
well, they had some SWAT guys come over after me. They did. But anyway, I try to get away from it. This is not the place. And I said, this is not the place. And he says, well, it was very nice meeting you as I'm trying to walk away.
Oh.
I turned around and I don't remember what I said, but my 7 witnesses
They all remembered.
all remembered. They were like, I put
Ruh-roh.
my finger inches from his chest and I said, I don't think so. And I walked away.
Mm,
Yeah.
4 very powerful words.
Well, look, he's such a suit. I mean, he's such a suit.
Empty suit.
Yeah. I shouldn't be saying all this. What's
Why
going on
not?
here? Why did you get me to say all this?
I do things like that.
Yeah.
because your stories are always so good, and plus the fact that you go out of your way to help
Other people.
other people, and with this Medal of Honor and the fight that you have gone through trying to get those that so deserve it
Mhm.
that honor, and the walls that you run up against, and it doesn't stop you. You just keep right on going.
Yeah. I wasn't trying to get these medals. It was
No, I know that. It was
Gotta
nothing self-serving.
It was,
Right.
Well, no, I was one of the ones recommended,
Oh, I know that. But
but it was Gunny Canley. If you read
Yes.
everything Gunny Canley said, he said the enlisted Marines got no recognition for their valor in Vietnam.
Right.
One other quick example.
for 30 days, guess who held them?
Yeah,
30 days.
Well, we had reinforcements after about the first week.
Yeah. Huh.
We had officers came in, and Ray Smith was one, a good man. But anyway,
A local name, huh?
Yeah.
yeah, Ray was my platoon commander
Oh,
in Vietnam.
What kind of stories could we get out of him about you?
I'll give you his number.
Oh, I got his number.
Yeah. So anyway, we go into the St. Joan of Arc for a big battle with the NVA, and they have like a battalion in this complex. It was a convent, a school, a rectory, a church, and there's over a battalion in there. And we go in, and they're inside RPGs, machine guns, right? And somebody got a Silver Star, and it was an officer. I won't mention the name. And the Silver Star citation says, so-and-so led his men into the St. Joan of Arc, and there was rocket-propelled grenades, it was machine guns, RP, everything, right? And he was knocked down by the concussion of the grenades, got back up, and got a Silver Star. Now, the men he deployed, when he said he deployed his men, got wounded. They didn't just get knocked down and up from concussions. And several of them were written up for medals, and they were all denied or downgraded. So the snuffies, the guys in the, and that's the last thing. We are getting a petition up. We'll have it after the holidays. We believe that there's thousands and thousands of sailors and Marines who were denied on misinformation. We think there's hundreds of that in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to ask them to sign a petition saying basically what I'm saying, and take, hopefully get 1,000 signatures and take that to congressmen. The only branch that can do anything to the executive branch is Congress. And if there's any congressman out there listening, you need to put on your big boy pants and understand you're a separate branch of government and do something. You're the only ones that can do it.
We got one congressman that might get a copy of this particular segment.
that's right.
Merry
Yeah.
Christmas.
He's aware of it.
I know he's
Right.
aware of it.
Yeah,
But coming verbally, like you just put it, from the heart. I want you to read this while I do a commercial. How's that? Read this.
To
Then you-
yourself.
And then you take this at home. I'm going to do a commercial though
Okay.
while you're reading it to yourself. This is some of my ranting from time to time. You might enjoy it.
are we off the air?
No, we're on
I
the-
will be on the air, but you just go ahead. The Christmas season is upon us. We know that, the time of year when we like to get together, break bread, and exchange gifts. It's a great time of year. Finding just the right present gets harder as the years go by. The older we get, the more realistic we become. The gift of planning ahead, planning for the future, is one of the most valuable gifts you can give your loved ones. Estate planning provides peace of mind, helps avoid those dreaded family conflicts, and ensures your wishes are honored during critical times. Right now, you can get a certificate that entitles the bearer to a basic North Carolina last will and testament prepared by Cheryl P. Colson under the supervision of attorney Samuel S. Popkin, valued at $300. You could get it today. Today, you can get it for $150, $150. Now, let me tell you what, that makes a great Christmas gift. For those folks out there who have got everything, they don't need anything else. Maybe they have put this off. Maybe it's a family member, a friend, and it could be your spouse.
That's right.
Buy them this kind of a gift that can be forever. All documents can be securely filed with the North Carolina Secretary of State, the Onslow Clerk of Court, or the Register of Deeds as applicable. These are legal documents, acceptable, accepted, and ready to go. Okay? No questions asked. This offer does not cover complex estates or trusts. I hope you wouldn't expect it to. The original numbered certificate must be presented at the first consultation. It's valid for 6 months after it's issued and is only valid for drafting and signing one will. You cannot get 3 wills for the price of one. Got it? It has no cash value and cannot be used for other legal services should you get into trouble or speeding ticket or whatever. It's not a gift card. This is a special deal for you to give to somebody else. It's a great Christmas gift. For additional information, call the office of Samuel Popkin, attorney at law, 910-347-0100 or 252-647-6016. Those numbers again, 910-347-0100 or 252-647-6016. This is a legal advertisement. We also call it advertisement.
Right.
I just thought I'd do it a little.
Let me ask you a question.
Brought to you by Samuel S. Popkin. The team wants to wish you and your loved ones a wonderful holiday season filled with peace and joy.
And we thank you for that.
We do.
How many times have you heard stories, where someone that you know or a family member
Yes.
possibly has passed away and there's a huge fight over who gets
not
what?
only the fight, just trying to get things done, just
Right.
jump through all of the hoops. If you
Mhm.
have a document there in front of you, it's upheld, it's filed, it's
That's
certified,
right.
it's a done deal. A lawyer has done it. Who can argue? You can try,
That's right.
but it's not going to happen. It's not going to go anywhere.
Yeah, and fortunately, my mother had her
Mm.
stuff together before she passed,
Mm.
and before my dad passed, my siblings and I were able to get him to square away things too, which made it easier. But for a year to 2 years,
Yep.
just trying to get all
And
their
it-
stuff.
It's part of it's part of life. That's
Yes,
what
it
happens.
is.
So just take the plans. It's not that you're say, hey, you're going to die, so we need to get your stuff straightened out. No, that's not the purpose. It's for your peace of mind, for
That's
the other
right.
person's peace of mind that you're giving it to. Because a lot of people, when they get older and they worry about this stuff, they just don't want to go do it.
Right.
So that's it. Welcome back, Johnny.
Yeah, you'll get in trouble if you read this online.
Oh, he's pretty much done it. We're in so much trouble now
I stay
anyway.
in
I know we're
trouble,
going to
whatever.
get kicked out before
But
we even get in the gate tonight.
It's my porch pirate thing.
Yeah,
You
I
like it?
mean,
Well
really.
written.
It's amazing what you can do when you get motivated, isn't it? When you write very well. I like your writing.
Yes.
I read some of your writing, recorded a lot of your writing over a period of time, a couple of years ago.
Really?
Over that.
Oh, yeah.
The mustard
The Last
movie.
Mustard.
The last mustard.
They showed that to the staff of the Marine Corps Museum,
Oh, did they?
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay,
and
good.
they might put it in the museum.
Oh,
on a
I
loop.
hope so. That would be
because
great. That'd
that'd
be
be
great. It's only
great.
33, 4 minutes long.
That was a wonderful experience on that.
Yeah, I felt so honored, John. What it is? Okay, the Last Muster is some Marines, the surviving Marines, in
Mhm.
2015, if I recall correct. That was the year of the Last Muster for them. But they were formed up during World War II. Some of them were just classified, characterized as misfits, brig rats, and everything else. Right?
Yeah,
Am I being right?
You got it right, because
They said it to. They admit it.
yeah, but they were this band of because they needed bodies, so they emptied the brigs, and that's why they call. But they had like 2 medal or 3 Medal of Honor when it was the first day of the Marshall Island Day. This 4th Marine Division Marines, if you're listening to this, you know nothing about the 4th Marine Division.
No, you don't.
They needed bodies, so they get this 4th Marine Division here at Lejeune. They train them. They go right from Pendleton into a battle. It never happened before. They went right into the Marshalls. They kick butt in the Marshalls. A couple of weeks later, they go to Saipan. 26,000 Japanese soldiers. They killed 22,000.
Yeah, you can't make this stuff up when you got just a few hundred guys.
Well, no, division. They had
Yeah,
a division.
how many were there? 3,000?
Yeah, yeah. And Lee Marvin was one of them. I interviewed him for hours.
Got shot in the butt.
Got shot in the butt. Lee Marvin, Academy Award actor. So they they take Saipan in like 30 days or 20 days, and they're on Saipan. 3 miles from Saipan is Tinian, another iconic Marine Corps battle. They go to they get replacements, and they fixed it. They take Tinian. So now they go back to Maui to lick their wounds and refit and get
Look at the
equipment.
hula skirts. Go ahead.
Yeah, and so they said, "Hey, you got to get on ships." So they get on ships and they say, "Come up to the deck," and they announce, "We're going to this place called Iwo Jima."
Say where?
They did that. They said, "Where?"
I'm sure.
Yeah, what's it? It's just like Waste City. I never knew I was in Waste City till 40 years after Waste City. I wasn't reading the signs. Welcome to Waste City. Oh, shit.
Bang.
But anyway, they go to Iwo Jima, and what happened is 2 divisions attacked Iwo Jima. The 5th Marine Division went up the Suribachi side, which was the west. But the 4th went up the right, which was the quarry side, which was worse. Because after they planted the flag on Suribachi, they had to fight another 2-3 days. But they watched, the island was so small. These guys were telling me they watched the flag go up. And in this documentary, which Rayford narrated, and he was as good as any or better, all these documentaries, voices. These Marines were in their 90s then. They're all dead now. And it was August, and they were sitting under a tent at a parade here. And the first row was wheelchairs, and the second row was walkers, and the third row was canes. And the Marine Corps band went by with the flag playing the Marine Corps hymn.
Oh, yeah.
And I
saw the video.
Film of these guys trying to get up, trying to salute, and their hands were shaking.
Oh my gosh.
It was so emotional. And they're all dead now, but it was a great project we worked.
No, you did a great job writing. And when, I'm sitting in a room all alone trying to say, okay, first of all, let me verify how to pronounce some of these things.
Yeah.
They're strange names. So it's typical. But I did that, and I looked, and then I tried to get myself in the mood and motivated and get the feeling. It's not a lot unlike what I would do when I would start looking at the way bad guys would do things. I would think like the bad guy. And sometimes I would show up where the bad guys were going to end up. Because I just felt like that's what I would do if I was one of them. But in this case, I put myself feeling like, okay, these explosions, the smells. I know what those smells are like. I know the gunfire. I know the feelings. And that's what I had to get myself into. And all I did was just talk.
You had it rough because you weren't.
I didn't see anything. I didn't see anything.
He didn't see anything. He narrated. I didn't know how to do a documentary, so I wrote the script, and then I got the film. I had the raw film from filming them, and I don't know how I put it together, but it worked.
I was amazed when I saw the two things, the audio and the video, married up. When I saw that, and I'm like, holy crap!
Well, yeah, he can now add filmmaker to his list.
You are
of
a
credentials.
filmmaker. You're a production man.
Yes.
Well, that was a work of love. I mean, you think they're the greatest generation ever.
Oh God, yes.
I mean, these kids
Yes.
nowadays.
Y'all, if you, somehow, somewhere, every Marine out there, everybody should see this. If you're from Camp Lejeune area, this neck of the woods, you really should sit down and watch this.
The last
It's
muster.
33 minutes, or as I
Yes.
recall, something like that. It's not very long.
I put some tags and some information on our Facebook and YouTube on it. So
So it
those
would-
listening, and you can go back later and watch it.
Yeah, and for you folks who, there was a thing called the Iwo Jima Theater.
Went there.
Oh, I did too. Swear I took
was a
Robbie on our
kid.
first date.
We're at Thompson Elementary School, and we walked down there to watch the Lion movie. I forget what it was. It wasn't the Lion King. It was, I don't know. It was
Well,
a movie.
My now
was
wife
on
was about years old. I was 17,
We used to live across the street from it too.
and I took her to the movie. Her dad's was a retired captain in the Marine Corps at the time, of course. So I didn't, picked her up and went to the movie. It was a movie. It was an innocent movie, Hawaii. So the first thing you see is this ship landing amongst a bunch of half-naked natives on the island.
What was this?
The name of the movie was Hawaii.
Yeah,
It was a historical movie.
right.
And I'm like, ruh-roh. Never heard about it from the captain, but
It's a story that Gunnery Sergeant Canley won the Medal of Honor, was 13. His brother took him to the movie and they saw Sands of Iwo Jima.
Oh, really?
That impressed him so much.
Oh.
Now, he was a big guy, about 6'3", and that at 15, his brother was L.J. Canley on his birth certificate. Canley, John L. Canley.
they got them backwards, didn't they?
No,
The birth certificates were right, but
yeah. So what happened? He's 15 now. He's
Oh.
over 6 foot. He says, LJ, give me your birth certificate. It's a true story. And so he takes LJ's birth certificate. He goes down to the Marine recruiter and says, I want to join. And the Marine recruiter looks at, he said, oh, they got your initials wrong. And Sergeant Major Canley said, yes, sir. No problem. He went in the Marine Corps at 15.
it's kind of like Audie Murphy did the same thing. I
Yeah.
forgot exactly how he got in, but he lied all the way through too.
Yeah.
He was 15 or 16
Yeah.
when he got in the Army.
There was actually a 14-year-old Marine that got in.
Was there?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I mean, when we were the 60s, we didn't have computers,
No, couldn't verify anything.
no.
And I will, for you young people today, first of all, oh God, when I was 13 or 14 years old, I'm 12 years old. We lived in this house, and I'm walking down the street during hunting season with a shotgun before dawn and walking down to the other end of the block to a completely wooded area it was. And I used to go down there with a shotgun to go hunting at 12 and 13 years of age. Can you imagine today? A SWAT team would be called out if I walked down the street with a shotgun. But at 13 or 12 or 13 years old, unheard of. Not then. It is today.
Well, also spanking your kid. I mean,
Oh, God, that was just a routine day.
yeah.
I won't spank you today for preventative maintenance just in case you do something.
I just found a video on YouTube from the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs with John as the guest star. One of his
Uh-oh.
videos. I just saw it. Let me see. Go back over here. I was like, whoa. Right here.
If you want to do another Google search, of course, I found a
Oh,
picture of
Yeah.
in the Mob Museum out there in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I went out there a few years ago, and I had to go to the museum. And there was a picture of a boat out there.
Oh, the boat.
Das Boat.
Das Boat.
Das Boat. And Das Boat was one that I found a picture on the internet of a guy named John Legato sitting topless on.
Yeah. I was topless.
I'm not sure whether you were sipping something cool at the time, but this boat was, why were you aboard this boat during that time? And what's the big significance of this boat? And why was it at the Mob Museum?
Well, it was in the Mob Museum because it was the FBI boat. And it was all wired up. And I'm with a wise guy. I lived with Donnie Brasco. He's in that picture. He's the one sitting down and with some wise guys. But that was also the boat they used for Abscan.
Yep. I remember Abscan.
Yeah.
My buddy.
That boat got around.
John Jenrette
That's right. That boat they would just
And
change the
Rita.
name.
and Rita Jenrette. We
Yeah.
used to do that with license plates. I finally we get the old license plates from the Department of Motor Vehicles here way back when that were expired, out of state tags
Yeah.
when they turned. We got tired of changing them out all the time for the
Yeah.
limited stuff. So I glued magnets to the back of them so we could just stick them over the existing plate.
When are we going to get a movie about you? I mean, they have one on Donnie. Why not you?
He's deserved. Well, they did do a movie called 10th and Wolf loosely based on my life undercover.
10th and what?
10th and Wolf, WOLF.
Okay.
Yeah. And I was there. I'm in the movie. I get blown up as a mob guy, but it had a hell of a cast. It had Val Kilmer,
Oof.
James.
10th and Wolf.
Yeah.
I got it right
I
here.
might be able to find that.
Yeah.
I
you-
have it. I'm looking at it. Oh, it was only 19% Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
That's very
I
good.
don't know what that means, but
Means it was rated high.
It was a good Dennis Hopper. It had
I met him and his wife in
Oh, I
Wilmington.
liked him.
who they
He
had.
was a nice guy.
They had Brian Dennehy.
Yeah, good
I like him
reviews.
too.
Good reviews.
James Marsden played me, the guy from. If you see James
Yeah.
Marsden, he's been in 1,000 movies. Brad Renfro. There was a bunch of big movie stars.
Oh, your podcast.
My podcast
Yeah, let's talk
How
about
often do
that
you do your
crazy
podcast?
podcast.
every day.
Every day. You put a new one up every day.
Every day.
Yeah, you must have had one timed because I was on there looking and it said just posted 3 minutes ago, and I'm like, what?
Automatic post.
Did you schedule that in advance?
No, somebody posted for me because
Oh, okay.
I can't do this stuff. And
All right.
See, that's my problem right now. I'm trying to find somebody with software experience. Give me something I can lay my hands on
I can do the posting on
or
YouTube.
beat it.
but-
You know.
can.
Yeah, it's easy. Easy. But let me go back in there. Where's it at? Come
But
on.
what's the podcast called?
The
John-
John
John
Legato
Legato
show,
Show.
and it will anger you because it's mostly
That's what I was talking about earlier.
about how this new phenomena called First Amendment auditors, frauditors,
Yes.
they just berate police, call them, curse at them, and
Mm-hmm.
it's just so. And I don't know how they get away with it because what happens is the police right now, their chain of command doesn't support them. So these guys get police fired, because
Really?
they'll come up and talk about their wife, their mother. They'll
They'll aggravate you to the point you want to smack them.
and that's what they do.
That can be arranged.
I get worked up watching these things.
They won't leave. They won't follow lawful orders. So, and then they quote laws they know nothing about. They have Google law degrees, and the cops know that if they lay hands on them,
The boss is not going to support them because
Exactly.
it's politically incorrect.
exactly. So you have these cops. They did one here. They did two here in Jacksonville.
Really?
Yeah, it was a female officer. I don't know.
Yes, it was over there on Cheney Avenue, and he was called in as a suspicious person because he was, I think, on a bicycle, real slow and looking all around and taking pictures. And so when the cops stopped him, he goes, "I haven't done anything. Why are you stopping me?" And she goes, "Well, sir, we got a call," but he would not let her explain. He was.
Screaming at her.
Oh
gonna
God!
get you.
I get all worked up just
Yeah.
talking about it now.
Well,
I'm
the
just like,
police got me one day over in the New River Shopping Center. I was over there with my wife. She was going in to do something, and I had my Tundra pickup at the time, and the moon was coming up, full moon. I take every opportunity to get photos if I'm around things that it looks cool. It may turn out to be junk, but I will shoot it anyway. And I'm looking with a very long lens, leaning over the hood of my truck for support. And two police cars come, one from each direction. And they say, "We got calls about a man over here being suspicious." And they said, it looked like it had a gun out here aiming it. And I said, "Man, it could have been, but it was me, but it wasn't a gun." And they said, and he looked at me and said, "I know you." I said, "Maybe." And then so I reintroduced myself to them, and they said, yeah, "What were you doing? Taking pictures?" I said, "Yep." Had a 500 mm lens, so it was a fairly long lens.
Well, see, now that example.
I don't care. You're doing your job.
Yes.
If I had seen the same thing, I would have called it in. I've called in people being suspicious like I was many a time. Why wouldn't I?
For those listening, I put the link on YouTube for his podcast. I mean, you've got to watch it.
Oh, yes.
But don't do it if you've got high blood pressure.
Yeah,
Oh,
no, but I have people comment saying I had to turn it off.
Yes,
It will get you that angry.
it does.
I love it when you do that.
I like the ones that you post to where the auditor's been shoved down a flight of stairs several
Yeah,
times.
everybody
Those are
does
good
that.
ones.
Yeah. Well, you know why?
Like-
Because justice,
I know, really.
karma.
Yes.
I've always, sometimes people slip.
It's an old New York cop saying.
The
That's-
auditor
slip and-
repeatedly
slip and
tossed down the
fall.
steps. Yes. and these sovereign citizens.
Oh my God.
Oh, I never ran into those in the day. Of course, they didn't exist apparently. Not in this part of the world, anyway. I would have laughed them.
Well,
To me, at that time, it would have been so funny. I would have laughed at them.
Well, yeah, but except they're dangerous too.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Well, at that time, I would have laughed at them until they got wouldn't comply, and then not complying is a bad thing.
yeah. Yeah, they believe
Call you glass man because
that
you're going to need them.
they are not under the rules, any of the rules of America. They don't have to have driver's license, registration, insurance.
So they say, yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Well, in that case, sir, this uniform doesn't mean anything to you or me. I'm not going to abide by the rules that are applied to this uniform. Then is that the way we want to do this?
No, that's not the way they play, though.
no, because what happens if cops get tough, and actually pull them out of the car because they can, because they're
Mhm.
obstructing they're screaming police. They want,
They want the police.
they
to
want
help
the
them.
police to help them.
Mhm. We used to have a saying back in the day when there were the hippies and the police and all that sort of good stuff. Who you going to call when you got a problem? A hippie or the police? Who you going to call when your house is burning down? A hippie or the fire department? The establishment. So if you're going up against the establishment, you got to go all the way. Put your own fires out, take care of yourself.
My only hope is karma kicks in on some of these
Oh, it
people.
does quite often. Sometimes Carmen needs a little
But you
boost.
also, on your YouTube channel, you have stories of when you talk about your undercover experiences in the mafia and take on the FBI. So there's some good videos there too.
So what kind of kickback do you get these days from the bureaucrats? Any?
No, it's frightening. I try.
But didn't you have to, like the first book you wrote, didn't you have to have them look at
Vet
it?
it,
Or
yeah,
you
they
vet
They
it?
have to do all of them, don't they?
I have to do. Yeah, they
If you want to
indicted.
collect your check.
They indicted a couple agents years ago for not vetting. No, I get my books vetted.
Mhm.
The funny thing is the last time, I shouldn't say this, but I was talking with the person vetting the book, and it was the Comey gang.
Mhm.
This was about 6-7 years ago, and they admitted, from talking with the person a few times, and they said, "I just want to tell you that we agree with you."
Yes, that's the thing.
Yeah,
If they're going to vet your stuff and hope to get it not allowed, they're going to have to put somebody from a lot higher inside the political mansion
yeah.
to
Here,
do the
I've got
vetting.
one for you, Rayford. This is where an auditor chased the police chief onto an elevator. Now, once those doors closed,
Our Father who art in heaven, why did you be this stupid?
Well, yeah, but you can't nowadays. You
yes.
can't. You lose your pension, and
Mm-hmm. But Rayford, I was like, I could see you once those elevators. You'd be like, "Where's the camera?"
What camera?
and most of these
don't work all the
frauditors
time.
are whiny. They're not. They're like Antifa. They're like
Yes.
Antifa. They're real whiny, and if you if you confront them, then they immediately start. I mean, if they realize you mean business, and what happens is private citizens, they try to pull that stuff with private citizens, and half of the time they get beat up because private citizens.
When you try that with Bubba, you might have to get off the floor sooner or later when you wake up.
It happens.
It does happen.
Well, I just want you to know he's got like almost 16,000 subscribers to his channel,
Very
so
good.
that's great.
Excellent.
Because it wasn't that long ago, just a couple years ago, you started this channel.
Yeah.
I remember when you started it.
So you
That's
you
fantastic.
done good.
Yes.
Done really good. We enjoy having you, and I know we kept you overtime.
He's had over 6 million, almost 7 million views on his videos.
Oh no, I got total.
No, that was showing just recently. Yeah.
Like I say, time to run for political office if you ever was stooped to a new level.
No, I would never.
Stoop to a new level.
Not that low.
How about FBI director?
I don't know what's wrong with Trump. He was, you could have easily taken over that job, except you'd have to have your own personal bodyguard.
Well, I would never get through the confirmation hearing.
That's
I really wouldn't.
Well, you might, like if you were did like Hoover did, you goods on everybody, you could probably sail through it.
At my age, I'm older than you.
Yeah, barely.
Well, we're old.
Yeah.
And I have no desire to enter a job where I have to get up in the morning. I'll be a consultant.
Mhm.
Yeah. I don't even know what that means.
Yeah, I know. The guy with the briefcase from out of town, different zip code and different area code. Gotcha.
Yeah. I think I could help from the outside, putting pressure. Like the final thing, if all else fails with this metal thing, and they do nothing, which they won't. All they did, the congressman here wrote, I think, a 3-page letter asking questions. And he had his staff in DC hand deliver it to the office of the SecNav.
Mhm.
And the SecNav eventually answered, "We're looking into it." And that was it. That was the reply. Now, congressmen are restricted for applying too much pressure for metals.
Sure.
But he just asked questions. He wasn't saying, he said, and I'll give you a final example of how bad the system is. One of the questions the congressman here asked, or his staff did, was they had a assistant secretary of the Navy in DC. They met at the congressman's office. And they asked a question to him: how many times has the Navy Board of Correction ever decided in favor of the petitioners in valor awards? Now, they handle pay disputes or rank disputes, but in valor awards. You know what that guy said with a straight face? We don't keep those numbers. How could you not?
Arrogance to the max.
Yeah. In other words, here's a middle finger. We're not answering.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
And they get away with it.
Yeah, that's the problem. There's no oversight. These oversight committees they need somebody to oversee them.
Right.
I guarantee you that if they ever give access to an investigative body on the redacted stuff, they won't give you anything back.
Mm-hmm.
The couple things that we got back were explosive. If they ever unredacted the majority, I got 200 pages of black ink, but there were a few, like a letter here, which gave us that. It would blow this system sky high. There would be Marines and sailors getting medals because these people, if the Navy said they unduly influenced and they screwed up the process, what makes anyone think it was one occasion? These people were like mafia guys here. They were like organized crime, in my mind. Allegedly.
No such word.
Yep.
They either did it,
Well, according to the Navy, they did it.
so they're wrong.
First time they ever admitted that.
So
Ever.
they're wrong.
Ever.
They did it. They're wrong.
Ever.
Screwed up. So, John, thank you. We
Always.
appreciate
Thank
your time.
you.
Are you going to go
Thank
play
you.
golf? No.
No,
It's too damn cold.
I got my wife told me as I was leaving, hurry back to do.
Oh, did she?
Uh-oh.
You want me to call her and
The
give you? I
to-do
can write you an
list.
excuse if you like.
So we'll be married 55 years in
Oh,
May.
Yeah.
Listen to the wife then.
I lucked
There's
out.
a way.
I lucked out.
Yeah, you did.
I
You married up for sure.
Yeah.
So did I. There's a difference.
Yeah.
So cool. Good for you. Thank you.
All
Best
right.
for the Christmas season and for the New Year season and for a better New Year. I think we've got. Let me see if I can count the days now. 6 weeks to go. So we should have a better season starting. I hope.
When we get this petition, I'm coming back on.
Okay, please.
Oh, good. Please.
I believe, again, there'll be thousands.
We can call
because
the
We had one guy tell me who was in this. He said, "Listen, I know in this office, I'm not going to say what office, that there are cases that they unduly influence, but we can't prove it." So the Navy is going to have to come clean. There has to be some transparency.
Mhm.
And there won't be unless they get pressured. They won't do a thing unless they get pressured. And the legislators or public opinion's the only thing that will do it.
Okay. Well, we got a couple of legislators that we know fairly well.
We should bring one into the studio the same morning, let him come in and let them both sit there
Oh,
face to face.
I would love that.
And I'm not talking local. I'm talking
Oh, I know.
federal.
I know.
Yeah,
I know what
U.S.
you're
So
talking about.
yes, we
Well,
can
let
arrange
me
that.
just reach out to him and just bring him down.
Yes.
Think
I
we
mean,
can.
he's taken
make
more
it-
of an active
I
role
think we
now
can encourage him to
in
be
the
here.
veterans
Oh yes,
causes.
Yeah,
So,
and there's not a better cause than this one.
in fact, you know what? I'll see him tomorrow.
Okay,
I will definitely mention
tell him
it.
that we want to spend a couple hours with him one morning.
Yes.
I would love
Oh,
that.
you know what? He could even come one evening and we could do it during the evening, a podcast during the evening.
can do
We'll,
it.
we'll
We
get
can
it
do it
all
at any
worked
time.
out.
And
Yes.
play it back. We can go live anytime we want to.
Yeah, and we can publish it anytime we
On
want to.
election
So,
night, by the way, we were live from 7 p.m. until
almost
till
2
it
a.m.
was over.
Wasn't that wonderful?
Yeah, I'll tell you what.
it
And the thing
was-
is, I was the only
Wow.
person around here who was not surprised, and because I called it early. I called it.
I didn't.
called it in
I wasn't
2016.
surprised. I
I
said
got every
that.
state right in 2016. I got every state right this year.
I said
I
I
did.
felt like I did not go on air with this, but I told you that
Well,
I
I
felt
did.
like it was going to be a
I
landslide.
didn't have a feeling. I just
Nostra Brown, right?
Right.
whatever.
Yeah.
You know, you analyze the stuff and what are the possibilities of it going this? Okay, these are the possibilities.
It's
Don't
like I
what
told you,
don't
there
like
was
what-
just
It's a mathematical equation. That's all it was.
it was just so many signs, so many things. I
Mhm.
mean, his rallies,
Uh-huh.
and I told you I watched them all on the YouTube channels, and the amount of people that were watching on YouTube, 75,000 to 80,000, and every single channel that I watched and all the surveys they did, they had Trump up by 75 to 80%. These are grassroots. These are people like you and me watching, taking these surveys. It was every single one of them. And then some of the other stuff that I was seeing on, votes, polls that were not done by professional pollsters or the news media. This was polls that are being done on, for people like you and me. And it was all becoming so evident.
I need to write a questionnaire and do a poll, and let you fill it out one time. I'll let some other individuals fill it out. The results of a poll will depend upon the questions and what order they're
Of course,
in.
of course.
And that's what happens. And the media is infamous for doing that. Gone are the days of the Gallup polls. When do you find a Gallup poll?
Those polls are just so
Gallup poll was a
rigged.
good poll.
It died with a very liberal announcer that you didn't know was liberal, was Walter Cronkite.
Yes.
You had no idea
Right.
how liberal he was because he read the news.
That's
Yes,
right.
what he was
That's
after.
right.
Yeah.
Just the news.
Just the news.
Just basically
Well, I
just
will
the
say
facts.
that.
And that's another guy. I interviewed him when he was in Onslow County one time, down here talking about conservation. He was invited by some folks at Sneeze Ferry. What was it? Island? I forgot a little island they were trying, Palumbo Island or Petaluma Island, or some kind of island down there near Sneeze Ferry, Topsail Island, trying to conserve it, trying to protect it.
Mhm.
And he came by because he was checking out his boat that was being built in Wilmington. So they got him here. I came up and interviewed him.
Yeah.
Had a great time with him.
He was at Way City during TED.
He's the one that I think put Johnson when he came out and said we've lost the war.
Yeah, he said it'll be a stalemate. And what Johnson said, if I've lost Walter Cronkite,
I've lost the
I've
war.
lost Middle America.
Yeah.
And if I lost Middle America,
I'm not going to run.
I'm not going to run.
I mean, he was arguably the most powerful one man in this country during that reign of
Yeah,
his.
yeah.
I don't know of anybody else, no president.
But you never knew. He didn't give opinion.
No, he didn't lean publicly one way or the other. He just, these are the facts, ma'am.
And he cried when Kennedy. I mean, he
Oh,
was.
yeah.
Yeah.
I was watching that day.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord. So anyway, okay. Enough history. But lest we forget, we better remember history.
That's right.
Will repeat it again and make the same stupid mistakes again
That's
if
right.
we
Because
don't
the
remember 9/11.
woke world is trying to do away with our history. So
That's the way it is. John, thank you. It's
You're
been a
welcome.
pleasure
Thank
as
you.
always, sir.
No,
You're
it's
live and local real talk where you're always awake and never woke. We'll see you Monday morning and see you tonight in Havelock. I'm going to bring my hot chocolate. I don't care what they say.
we're gonna figure
You're
out.
not coming down my river tonight?
No, can't.
Okay.
Bye.
Oh, is it?